What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Call to Action Live, where we talk about all things that happened this week in Schmodown. Some of us may be a tad hungover from our special anniversary stream last night, not gonna lie, but we are still here and we still got updates and information for you guys. So I am excited for this episode. And to my right, I have my lovely co-host, Alex Mack. How are you doing today?
Man, I am so excited. I just booked another Schmobate for the 15th, and so that is going to be amazing.
Yay! That's so exciting. Oh my gosh, they just get better and better and better. Like I can't even imagine where this is going now because it's just every match is just more entertaining, more fun. The questions just get so good. Oh, I love Schmobates.
It gets pretty intense, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm really scared. Roka messaged me the other day being like, you better give us the best questions you can ever come up with. And I'm like, oh,
that's a lot of pressure.
I'm like, suddenly I'm looking at all my questions and I'm like, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. So so I'm kind of nervous about that, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah, pressure's on, but I just know it's going to be great, and I can't wait to watch. Oh, it's going to be fun. All right. Well, this week in Schmodown, we will start with the match that we got to watch this week: the Den versus the Butcher Boys.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, there's some heat and some tension in that match, to put it lightly, but it was a great match. It was very solid.
Absolutely. I mean, just kind of dive into it from the get-go. I mean, just starting off, these are two rookie teams that we've never seen play before. One getting significantly more hype than the other, just because it does have Rachel, the shooting star, the shooting switchblade, whatever her nickname is going to be. I'm not entirely sure right now what's going on with that. But her with, Ben Goddard, I mean, who TKO'd RB3, forever a day ago. That feels forever ago when he played them, when he competed against them. But yeah, so they're very much already talked about being like such a huge hyped team. And so like no pressure to them going into this match, because that's a lot of pressure, for a new team like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a very rookie team versus a team that technically is a rookie team, but has some very solid, at least we know now, players. We've seen Ben compete with the RBP matches, you said. So going into it, I also was favoring the Den as well. But I was very interested to see how the Butcher Boys are. I mean, you have Kaiser as a manager. They've been studying away in the dungeon. Like, what have they been absorbing down there? I mean, we're in quarantine right now, so I'm sure they're learning a lot of things.
I mean, the dungeon's kind of in an interesting situation. I feel like we can actually kind of, I mean, also I kind of want to dedicate an episode talking about where we are, like a quarter of the year through the season through, like looking at the scoreboard. I kind of want to have an episode where we just kind of dive into that with everyone, between the Finstock, the difference between the numbers, Finstock and, corruption in the dungeon. I mean, they're really down there, unfortunately, right now. And sure, we have a very much a long time until the end of the season. However, like matches are very few and far between right now. So if you're not winning right now, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to bounce back.
Yep, that's very true. That's probably the pressure. I feel like this season is just like that much higher on everybody. Cause I mean, it felt like, there's definitely a strategy to when they were scheduling things, but I feel like this season it's definitely because everyone's got their roster they want to get playing, that the pressure to get a match is just that much higher. So if you lose, I like probably if you're fucked, you're right.
I feel bad for any rookie right now, like any rookie competitor that's going into singles. Like I feel bad, like or any competitor going to singles or IG or whatever it may be for the first time, because if you don't win your first match, it's going to be a very long time until you get another match, if you get that opportunity. It's just, especially with not really even having the IG tournament right now. But that's going to be a conversation later in this episode.
Exactly. That's one thing also with this season that's changed a lot too, because of what's happening in our world right now. We're having less and less matches because they can't film them right now. So like, what does that look for the season as well? Like, are they going to then make up matches, if that makes sense, like catch up a little bit, or is it just gonna be like we're just gonna have less matches this season because that's just how it's gonna play out? I'm interested to see how they deal with that.
Yeah, it's I can only imagine the pressure Christian and Ellis and a lot of these people in these kind of head roles are how much pressure they have, especially after going into this deal with the Skybound.
Mhm.
Skybound, yes, thank God. Okay. I could
Yeah.
think I kept saying I said sky round, sky thing. Many wrong words. But yeah, so especially going into this, it's obviously, I mean, it's difficult for everyone, but I'm really kind of hoping we continue to rally behind Schmodown. Is something that the community loves, supports. We actively talk about it and go over about it every single day. So I'm really hoping it doesn't like lose any momentum, especially after the draft and all this good stuff. So
yeah, exactly. I'm interested to see like how this everything goes down. But what for in the meantime, we still get a match every week, and this week did not disappoint.
Oh, okay. So if we're gonna talk about these like rookie teams, obviously the pride of the den. Holy schnickies. Just saying, Katie. Sorry, I don't want to call her Katie. Her name's not Katie. Kate. Holy schnikes. She's becoming like the big manager this season.
She is dominating as a manager. She's also one of them. I feel like one of the most entertaining people in Schmodown right now. Like, especially this match. Like some of the things that she said and did was just like when she hands him ribs from her fanny pack and then hands Rachel a bar of soap. Almost like I love the gag about her fanny pack being like this thing just has random things being pulled out of it.
Honestly, I kind of look at her fanny pack and I'm like, she's almost like Mary Poppins or like Merlin or Hermione Granger. She can put her whole arm down into that bag and like an entire house is gonna pop out, like a sofa, a fifth of alcohol, a random like bag of takeout food. It will just feel like there's just so much stuff in there.
Honestly, one of my favorite Kate moments this match as well was when she came up to them, they're all excited, and like she went up to Ben, was just like squishing his face like that. Like that's such a mom thing to do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Not kidding. She is such a mom. I mean, she see exactly the fanny pack is magical. It is like it is the wardrobe to Narnia. That's what it is. I'm really kind of curious, especially I'm really glad though she's really bouncing back after she got called out quite a bit, after the Mulligan fiasco, that happened, several weeks ago, which is like kind of ridiculous how people kind of talk about it in that regard. So I'm really glad that she, people are like, what, a blip, whatever, shit happens. And she's really coming into her own as like the manager to beat because obviously going into this season, everyone is talking about Shannon with corruption, which is obviously we still are, but Kate is glowing.
Yep, she definitely had a lot to prove because she hadn't been involved in Schmodown before that, and she got added into everything super last minute because of just the way shuffling things happened. And she definitely has shown she has totally earned her spot, if not like she's dominating. I feel like all the other managers right now, and I feel like she's definitely like one of the definitely top contenders for a manager of the year for this year for sure. Because she's just, I feel like she not only is really good at just being there for a team, being the mom role, the supporter, stuff like that, but she is learning very quickly Schmodown and the ins and outs. And by the end of this year, it's just she's gonna be unstoppable.
Yeah, and this is only her first season as a manager, so I'm really impressed, that she's able to do as well as she is, consistently, obviously. You kind of expect, especially with a rookie manager, and we do have quite a few rookie managers to kind of come out, making a lot more mistakes. And, she made that one mistake, and, we haven't had anything like that since. Now, that being said, she's had a lot more matches recently than other factions. So I'm kind of curious, like rock stars, for example, who knows, maybe in a few months, we might be talking nonstop about Roxy, talking about her being manager of the year, or Sam Levine. I mean, we haven't really talked about him. When are we going to get that Ghai Kalinowski match? Is that going to happen?
It has to.
Is that to happen?
At some point, it needs to happen. I need to see that. So
yeah, not kidding. But yeah, sorry, we keep going off topic. Really, we need to really just kind of hone in and focus.
And Paul is usually the person that's really good. Like, okay, well, this happened in this round. I'm not that person. I'm a. What's your general feelings? General person.
Okay, well, okay, I do want to talk about that. Okay, specifically, just kind of go into the analytics behind this match. At the end of the first round, Ben, I believe he was the only person to get a perfect round.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if he got his bonus question.
I believe he did. I believe he did.
Oh, okay, that's huge, especially for a rookie competitor. Obviously, massive. But also Rachel did fantastic. But also, we do need to take a moment to highlight the Butcher Boys as well. You know, sure, they did not walk away from this match winners, but they showed even in this first round that they are definitely competitors to be reckoned with. You know, they are people that, you know, they do know their shit. You know, we're going to go into that a little bit more in the second round, but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that first round was super amazing. Ben has been surprising me. Not that I didn't have faith that he was going to be a good competitor, but like he's a really good competitor. I am pleasantly surprised. Yeah. And he was just now several examples of him getting, I think didn't he get perfect in his match against RB3 too? Or at least pretty close?
I believe so. I want to say that he was like really, really close. I think he was like one off, or he did get a perfect round. I do think it's as well something I was actually kind of really, I know Rachel for a fact. Rachel is an amazing part of a team.
Yes.
However, I don't want to say nervous, but I was really, really curious about Ben because I've watched Ben stream, and you know he's just like he's very kind of focused on, you know, his own individual stuff, but you know it's just like based off his vibe, you know, based off, you know, just stuff I've seen on his streaming. He just is very focused on himself, as he should be, though, because he's also really kind of focusing on singles competing as well. But so I was kind of curious to me, like, is he just going to be all about me, you know, being in a team match? Like in some teams, that's like the focus. I mean that is more of it rather than like two, like like the family. Like Drew McQueenie, he's like very obviously, he's like, Ghai's the talker.
Yeah, and I'm
McQueenie, I'm not here to talk. I'm here to compete, but I'm not here to talk.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Ghai's here to talk.
No, I was really excited when I found out they were being teamed up for the Pride because Rachel deserves a good partner because she is such a strong player that she needed somebody to be able to help her get to that point because like it was I felt like, sorry, but I'm picking the brain. It was kind of very one-sided with that team. Yeah. Where Rachel was kind of carrying it. But now I feel like with her and Ben, it's going to be a good partnership to be able to go far.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's on a situation right now where she needs to babysit him. You know, I mean, she doesn't need to like rein him in. She doesn't need to tell him to focus. You know, she doesn't, you know, things like that. She doesn't have to, he's not going to be like, give out the answer without consulting her first, things like that. So, I mean, and they're strategizing, they go over, you know, they understand the game. They both understand, you know, the importance of strategy. It's not just understanding Will Smith movies and knowing that Will Smith is in movies where he's not the main actor. Shit like that. Yes, he is in that one movie, Winter's Tale, where he plays Satan or some kind of Satan demon. That counts. You know, things like that. But yeah, I feel like I'm really hoping to see more of them like really kick ass. And, you know, she doesn't have to babysit him.
Yep. So then she can just focus on the game and her own gameplay, and it's going to be. I'm so excited to see where they go from here. Speaking of where they go, round 2. Oh my gosh, the wheel round. That was an entertaining round. Not only from the gameplay standpoint, but the personalities, kayfabe part of things as well.
Okay, I can't remember what category did the Den spin. Sorry,
Adam Sandler.
I feel like that can be a pretty difficult category, very difficult slice.
Yeah, he's got a very diverse catalog of things, more than people think. People think, you know, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, but they're like, oh yeah, Punch Drunk Love and things like that. Like he does have different films in there, and I thought they did great. Like I don't think that's a category many people probably have studied for as much per se, but they did good. So that was great.
Not kidding. I totally agree. It just comes down to he's in quite a few movies. He cameos quite a bit as well. I mean, he's like, Little Nicky, obviously, but he's what was that? He cameoed in some movie where he's some kind of like he's like at a charity ball or something, and he's like, yeah, I'm a really deep thinker. I'm writing a script about the Holocaust. Oh yeah, and someone asked him, it's like, oh yeah, well, who is Kevin James playing? And he's like, Hitler. I can't remember what movie it was, but it was just like he does a lot of these little cameos here and there.
Yeah, so that's going to be a very surprisingly broader category than you would think at first hand, but they did really great. I was very impressed.
Okay, Peggy, calm that down. I love and respect you, but I'm from St. Louis. So she's from Chicago. So whatever.
Yeah, yay sports.
Yeah, Peggy and I are probably more likely to get into like a fight if we meet each other finally.
I'll have to split you guys up. Like, guys, it's just a game.
Come on, Excuse me, Cars. Cards do not suck. How dare you? How dare you?
We're going to get an argument in the chat versus the screen pretty quick. All right. So then the Butcher Boys spin in a pretty good category that I am sure Rachel lost her mind there, except for Kevin Smith. Oh my gosh. As soon as that happened, I'm like, well, that's the end of that.
Lucas and we watched on the couch, and because we watched on the couch and we were like eating dinner, and the moment they spun Kevin Smith, I was like, yeah. Lucas was like, I felt so bad for him. And I was like, babe, they spun Kevin Smith. And they were like, yeah. And, she's going to get all the questions. Yep, what of it? And I was like, no, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But didn't they spin away from Hilary Swank? I don't remember. Is Hilary Swank a slice?
They may have. I don't remember. I just remember the Kevin Smith part. And back to them as a team, further proof of how well they work together, because Ben's like, I gotta let Rachel's got this. Like he trusted her to just go with it, and like you gotta have that trust, which was very nice.
Yeah, it was really kind of interesting to see. I know the action guys. I mean, I know Ben and Drew, they talked about earlier on their thing. But just we're kind of talking about this part in particular. There's a little bit of controversy. I don't like to say it. Well, I feel like controversy is not the right word. I feel like there are some disagreements over how this kind of went. But do you remember the specifics? But between the challenges and everything.
Not as much necessarily like the actual events that happened, but just that there was definite tension during that scene, that round, and the kayfabe / just the discussions that happened around them. I feel like really kind of paints a picture where the teams are going with their personalities. I just gotta say that, like the Den. Oh my gosh, I love you guys.
The pride.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the pride of the Den. Rachel, getting to see you carry on what happened at your post-interview from your last team's match, and just where you've taken that, just be like such a I can't even think of the right word to say. Just like
divine.
Divine is a very good word. That wasn't the word I was thinking of, but it is glorious. A perfect way. Just like, her wonderful. Using her voice to be perfect. Like
in every way.
Yes. Perfection.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It was really kind of interesting to see. I mean, this is definitely a match that really kind of focused, really highlighted, the importance of strategy as well. Understanding when to, like, how to use challenges effectively, but also understanding the importance of steals, knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses. Now, I don't want to go into, like, to me, the whole Yoga Hosers Canada thing, I'm like, I don't know, where's sushi from? Fucking Japan, obviously. Like, how do you spell cat? But I don't want to go into that. To me, that's obvious. I have chat with people and be like, yeah, I'm a Canadian. I've never heard of that term before. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's just like something for us to know. To me, I mean, I'm like, what would the multiple choice items be? Would it be UK, Ireland, New Zealand, and Canada? Like, no. But again, I don't want to go into that, even though I'm still going into it at some, so I apologize. But yeah, so it doesn't matter, even though they still won. But also when they were kept, it was kind of interesting to see Rachel, she's doing her heel thing, doing her heel thing. It's like, oh, it's almost like you've never seen a Kevin Smith movie before.
Yes. Oh my gosh, when she said that, I was like, oh, this is what it's gonna be now. Yes. Yeah.
And then she's kind of dishing it out a little bit, but you did see that the look, like, when they interjected. So you can see, like, her train of thought, because obviously she knows the answer, but she's kind of like, you can see, like, her gears turning, essentially, and they kind of interrupted, and she's like, what did you say? And so, but she said empire, and she's like, and that moment, so kind of like lost her train of thought for a minute, and thankfully Ben was right there. Empire Strikes
Ben's there for
Strikes Back. Yeah. I did go back and watch that movie because I was kind of curious. Not watch the movie. I did go back and watch that scene, and in the scene specifically, they don't say Empire Strikes Back. They talk about they say the word empire.
Empire over.
Yeah. So
that's what everyone calls that movie in conversation. You don't say the whole title in conversation.
So it is a very solid argument that we had not heard before. So I was really kind of curious, how that's gonna play out. But yeah. I mean, it was a solid challenge, and I'm glad that they made it. It didn't matter, because they still won pretty nicely.
Yep. It was a good win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then going into round 3, like we were saying, end of round 2, I was pretty sure I knew how this match was going to end. So it was just kind of waiting to see how it would unfold. Yep.
Thank you for the clarification, Rachel. Yeah, I was really kind of curious about these interviews. I'm not gonna lie, I felt kind of bad as well for the Butcher Boys because Video Drew just stole the fucking show.
As she does.
I wanted just an interview to be about her. I didn't want to talk about the Butcher Boys, even though they actually, considering they're a rookie, brand new team, they didn't do too bad. So.
Well, I did enjoy that team. Like, I'm excitedly going to watch them in any future matches they do. Like, I thought Vinny with his, like, picture of whatever the heck that was. Margarita. Looked. It was something, but it was just like, I liked their vibe. I liked their chemistry. Yeah. I'm excited to see them, but you are right. Video Drew and Kaiser, their personalities are just so strong that they just kind of took over that interview a bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a, I don't like to say a struggle, but I feel kind of bad. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hate calling us the Yatsu twins. What's wrong with that? I'd be into that. Not kidding. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I kind of felt bad. Like, Kaiser, going back to the whole, like, faction wins and losses kind of thing, I feel like Kaiser hasn't had, like, a solid win yet. Yeah. And, with IG tournament being canceled, I'm really, really curious about his team because some of his biggest competitors on his team were IG specific.
Yeah.
So he's going to be doing a lot of relying on Drew Grant, as well as Zipper, this season. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think they filmed at least one IG match that we haven't seen yet. I don't know how it turns out or anything, but so maybe that might help out Kaiser. We'll have to see. But you're right. Like that, his faction is kind of heavy in the IG, and for that to be not being able to be filmed quite the same way, it probably will affect him. Whether they can make an equal amount of matches later, maybe. So he'll like catch up at the end of the season as opposed to right now. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, yeah, it kind of does affect his points a bit.
Now, I'm going to go back and check his faction specifics. Okay, so he does have several other, people, obviously, Smets, Parker, Eric Zipper, Adam Witt, Owen Mugen, Vinny Mancuso, Brittany Young, Rick Hong, Daniel Villalobos. And aside from like 3 or 4 of them, especially I think 3 of them, technically, they're all rookies. And, he does thrive with rookies. He got 2 of them 2 championship belts, last season. But it's very, very heavy in IG, I feel like. And he hasn't really had a team yet that's thrived yet. So he's really needing those points pretty desperately in order to kind of jump ahead if IG's really going to kick their ass.
Yeah, absolutely. Interested to see how that season plays out because I have full faith in Kaiser and his decisions and him as a manager, but it's been a rough start.
Well, yeah, it's a rough start for everyone too.
Yeah, the whole country's had a little bit of a rough start this last few months. Whole world has had a little bit of a rough start
in every way.
Yeah, but absolutely.
I don't want to talk about it.
And then talking about the Pride's post-match interview, Kate just like she's just so happy and glowing for them, and it makes me so happy to see her just like I said, being the supportive mom role to them, be like, you guys, oh my gosh, I love their chemistry all together. The Den as a whole, their chemistry together feels the most like a family to me of any faction so far I've seen.
Like the dungeon together. Is like a group of delinquents just hanging out in a park.
Yes, like exactly. That is like the
call them whole family.
Yeah, like they're like they're family because they're sharing a joint at the moment, but they will probably not hang out later.
Exactly.
But the Den, they're like they call each other late at night. So how was your day? Kind of a family. So it's just I love their vibe together, and I'm so excited to see more.
Well, I mean, like I couldn't agree more. It's just the vibe, and not to mention all of them are very vocally pro Den as well. I mean, sometimes, but also with that being said, we haven't heard from like half of the competitors in some of these teams. So, I mean, we haven't really had a chance to see, some of these competitors, really do a lot of interaction with some, with their managers or anything all that much from what we see.
Yeah.
So who knows? But we'll get the feedback.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was such a good match. I'm so excited. I have to admit, it's been kind of painful with the less matches per week thing because I need my showdown fix. But like I said, at least the matches we're getting are great content, so it's fine. We'll survive. We'll survive.
We're not getting as many matches like traditional matches. However, we're going to be getting new types of matches in the form of exhibition matches.
Yes, that's our move. Let's go on to the next section where we were gonna speculate about next week's match, but none of us think we've heard about what next week's match is. So if you know what it is in the comments, let us know. But we can. So we're going to talk about Christian's post about how the IG tournament is canceled, but they're looking at exhibition matches.
Yes. So with that being said, there are, like I said, several factions that are very focused on IG, such as the Dungeon, but also newer competitors going into IG, such as, like obviously Robert Parker, Alex, Bateman. We were excited to see, even Merle kind of really branch into. Yeah, that's what we were thinking. Odd Couple versus Who's the Boss. Dan Merle, we were excited to finally see him branch into his third, league, and unfortunately that's been canceled. And who knows, maybe we'll get that later in the year or something, but it's just kind of been canceled indefinitely, it seems like.
Yep. So that is a bummer. I was excited to see these new competitors get into the IG league and see how they do. But the idea of an exhibition matches actually makes me really excited because those are some of my favorite Patreon perks is getting to watch the exhibition matches.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see. And I like how they're asking us like what we want to see, which I just want to in big bold letters be like Kevin Smith exhibition match, Rachel Silverstream.
Okay, well, that's the thing. That's something I'm a little curious about. Okay, so for example, when they did the holiday exhibition match, Rachel and Janine and everyone is there. Alonso Duralda was asked to sit out and co-host that match, like be a commentator. So I'm wondering if it's like a well-known super strength for a competitor. I wonder if they're going to be asked to sit out. Like I would never put Brad Gilmore, in an exhibition match on Go Back to the Future trilogy. Like, I would ask him to host it or, commentate it on it, but I would never ask him to compete against other people on it. So I'm kind of curious about how that would be. Like, I would feel bad if Drew McQueenie, he's coming back only for the 80s exhibition match. Like, the guy really makes his living off of knowing 80s movies in particular. Yeah, that would be pretty great, though. Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, but who would be the other half of the pride? So you can't have that, Rachel. So got to plan ahead.
I just can't wait to see what they end up doing and like how often we're going to see them, and is it going to be in like StreamYard kind of thing? Is that what they're planning on doing, as in like right now, or are they planning it for the future? That he wasn't entirely clear on.
I honestly have no clue. It's if it's going to be done on StreamYard and everything, it doesn't really. I would have a little bit of trouble with that, honestly, just because being involved with the fan leagues. One of the biggest differences, we talk about, what makes a great, regular like a Schmodown competitor versus someone in the fan leagues is that a Schmodown competitor, they're under the pressure, they're under the lights with a lot of these people, watching them go about this versus people in the fan leagues, they're hanging out in their own bedrooms, no pressure, just chilling. So it's a very different kind of environment, not to mention, there's characters and, cut scenes and interviews and stuff that they do, so not to mention aesthetically, it would look like the fan leagues as well. And I feel like there needs to be more distinction personally. And I say that as someone that, is involved with the fan leagues, but that's just me. Kelsey, how would you do? I mean, what would you suggest?
Well, back to the streamer thing. Another thing that I remember, Christian, I think it was on SCN or Backstage, he mentioned about doing matches on here, that there is the concern of the possibility of cheating just because you have access to a cell phone, computer, anything you could possibly use to cheat, note cards.
Well, what the fan leagues do though specifically is that they had to have their hands on screen at all times. But yeah, I mean, it does get blurry. I mean, hypothetically, you could have a roommate right next to you, looking it up on your behalf, just like showing it to you in theory. So you would have to have a lot of trust.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think anybody would do that, but it does put the trolls in the chat with, like
it can add fuel to the fire. Yeah, it can. Yeah. Trolls will look for any reason.
Yeah. Oh, that person lost because this person was cheating, even though they weren't. But it's hard to argue it in this environment as opposed to in a studio.
Well, can you guarantee they weren't cheating? Well, technically no, but then there's a chance. Like, come on, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Just going into, I have no idea about like who should compete in specific matches, but what kind of exhibition matches would you like to see?
I always like the franchise specific Inner Geekdom ones, just because I actually sometimes can maybe answer the questions to those. So I enjoy those ones a lot, but I would love a rom-com one with Andrew Ghai involved in some way, whether it's at the desk,
Rachel, and Janine.
Oh yeah, I take my money right now. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think like a little more generalized. I'm actually going to be hosting a coming of age / young adult adaptations exhibition match here pretty soon, here in the incoming weeks. So if you are interested in competing in it, please let me know, and I can get you on the list to audition. I'll be more than happy to do that. But yeah, I do think that would be pretty solid. I am dying to get a famous franchises one up there. Mm-hmm. I feel like people really disregard famous franchises like the Transformers franchise or Pirates of the Caribbean franchises or whatever it may be. And that kind of ticks me off. And I'm like, why? I would love for that to happen. Or even another one would be video game movies. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like video game movies are really talked about enough. So you can kind of branch into Pokemon, the first movie. You can go into Mortal Kombat. You can go into Resident Evil.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. You can do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, that would be fun. There's so many possibilities. And
I know there are other categories, but that's the thing. We're talking about specific categories with this one, like the top 10 most famous franchises kind of thing. Heck, you can include the MCU or DCEU in there. Just saying.
Yep.
LOTR if you want. Heck, get some IG competitors in there. Why not?
Yep, absolutely. That would be. Oh, I see somebody hanging out in the background.
Surprise. We always have people hanging out in the background. That's not news.
Hey!
Hey, is it my shift now for our next 8-hour stream or?
Yep, your turn.
God.
See you later. I'm busy for like 8 hours.
What's happening, everybody?
Oh, not much. We are just talking about Christian's post that they're not doing the IG tournament anymore, but that they might be doing exhibition matches. So we are speculating. What would we like to see? What would you like to see? What kind of exhibition?
I want to see Rachel Silverstream and Kevin Smith exhibition match.
Oh, yeah.
That is spot on what I want to see.
Honestly, I feel like it's so obvious, like a big strength of hers. I would actually honestly argue that she would probably be better as a commentator, just like Drew McQueenie was a commentator for an 80s exhibition match. Alonzo was the commentator for the holiday match.
That's so scary.
Because it's so obviously a mega strength.
Oh, it absolutely is. It would be interesting to find somebody just as strong to go against her. I know Robert Adams, who has competed in the Schmodown, is a big Kevin Smith fan, and he has made that known that he would want to do that. But that's someone I would consider. But I do take your point that maybe Rachel would be better suited. But maybe we can get Kevin Smith himself involved, and Kevin Smith can call the match. I know that's been teased.
Questions? How about that? I would love to write the questions. What if you're calling the match with Kevin Smith?
I take it one step further. I think Rachel could beat Kevin Smith in the Kevin Smith category. That's what I think, honestly.
Yeah. I think it was like on Jimmy Kimmel where like a bunch of like MCU obsessed kids had to like go up against like the MCU cast and like a quiz show kind of thing about the MCU. That was delightful.
That'd be cool. What else is there? You know what I would like to see is I've been calling for it for a while. Mike Kalinowski versus Tim Franco in the Bond exhibition match.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's what I definitely want to see happen.
I'd watch that one, even though I wouldn't know the answer to a single question. I'd still watch that one.
I don't know. I don't remember Tim Franco and doing any kind of Bond stuff. Personally,
he knows Bond.
Yeah. Has he competed?
Better.
Has he competed?
He had the Bond category once and went. He was perfect at it. Well,
I mean, like when was that though?
God, I gotta remember which one.
I would love it. It's just, I mean, like if he's not like actively competing, I don't know how I would feel.
I know he's
competing, yeah, but I mean,
he's still competing. He's got some matches, but he actually specifically mentioned Bond at one point to me, and we had to talk about it one time. And he told me he told me also that the categories, or rather the questions that Mike has gotten wrong in Bond, he is known like a down heartbeat. That's they all do know that is true. Gilmore knows his stuff too, and Fife knows her stuff too. I think Rachel's got that. I think it was his debut match with Crimson Fury. I think that was the one.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was, but he did really well at it. So
yep. I would like to see that one. That would be great.
For sure. What about I think another one if you're going to go into I think a classic exhibition match or even animation would be pretty solid.
Animation would be fun.
Sports movies,
you could do that.
Sports.
What about Bateman versus Ghai?
You want to be in that match?
Bateman versus Ghai, Tom Cruise Iron Man match.
Take my money now.
I'm just upping my Patreon as we speak.
Come on, that'll be just damn good.
Jane Austen adaptations, just saying.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So many
There's
ideas.
a lot more than you think. Just saying. A lot more.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, one thing we also didn't talk about, the chat let us know. We didn't know what next week's match was, but they informed us it was Odd Couple versus Who's the Boss. So we haven't speculated on that yet.
Okay.
So
I
know who I have.
I love this match. I've been wanting this to happen ever since the debacle where the Odd Couple beat Who's the Boss. I think Who's the Boss is the better team overall, but it's all, to me, depends. If Andreyko plays like he played in that match, Andreyko had one of the best games of his career, I think, in that match. He was just spot on. Snyder was 2.0. What was that?
Chicago 2.0.
Chicago 2.0, exactly. I'd like to see it. I think Ben and Mark really have a chip on their shoulder when it comes to that match. So I think they're going to be headlong looking forward. And of course, we know Ben's gotten better and better since that match. So it'll be interesting to see. And Andreyko hasn't played in forever. It's been a long time since I've seen him play.
Yeah. He did mention, though, during the draft that he planned on competing in the singles league this year, though.
He did.
Yeah, he mentioned that. He mentioned, he's like, Ben, you inspire me to go for the singles tournament this season. You're going down.
They all want to beat Ben. They all want to beat him bad. I mean, he is, even though he's not the champion, he's still kind of got that target on his back as one of the best currently playing. So I think that's against him. But then, of course, Roxy is in her thing. She would like nothing better than to beat Dagnino every time.
Oh, yes.
Every chance she can get. So
let's be honest, we all do. I mean, everyone wants to beat Dagnino. Like,
they want to beat him or be him. That's actually a question. Some people want to beat
him with a hockey stick. They want to beat him with they're just like, for so long. This is bonkers. Not to mention how much fewer matches that we're having this year. You know, it's going to be that much more difficult to.
Yeah. Oh, it will.
It's going to be that much more difficult to, get more matches for each of these factions. And whereas in Stock Exchange, they already got the leg up because they already have a guaranteed so many so many more matches because they currently have the belts.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I think that's another thing you think about. I think the people are not going to want to see Who's the Boss win for that reason. A lot of people are going to be rooting for the Odd Couple. They're kind of tired of the Stock Exchange passing around the belts like they're passing around coronavirus, for Christ's sake. I mean, they're all the belts. You know what I'm saying?
Too soon, Paul. Too soon.
Too soon. I'm sorry. But I had to make my prediction. I think Who's the Boss has it. I think Ben's just gotten better. Yeah. I think Mark might be a little rusty, maybe. And Snyder, I love Snyder, but Snyder can definitely be rattled. He's probably the one that can be most easily rattled on the stage of the four. So I'm gonna go with Bateman getting in his head, and Riley playing good, and I think he wins.
That's where I'm at. They were gonna beat him in Chicago, so
You're not wrong. I mean, the Odd Couple winning would not surprise me. I'm not going to say that. It was definitely a good match. So
well, something to clarify is that Garth is kind of bringing up as well that the Odd Couple last played. It was pretty recent considering the season. Last time they played was in late November. Yeah. So all things considering, that's a pretty recent team match for sure against Shazam, one of the other top teams ever.
That's true. That's true.
So.
Yeah.
And yes, Brian, you're right. Brian Snyder is one of the best team players out there. Absolutely. But I think all four of these players are pretty good team players also. So
they're all solid.
Yeah. All these players are solid, but I have to go with Who's the Boss. I never root against Ben. I feel like he's my favorite player in the Schmodown. And then Riley.
How dare you?
I feel like losing in Chicago, them against Odd Couple did light a fire under him too. So I feel that they're coming for revenge and they're going to win.
Ghai is betrayed.
Kelsey, you're lucky this is your show, so I can't kick you off your own show.
But
yes,
you know
That's
what?
the
I
guy.
can take her off.
that's my favorite player.
That's the guy you're rooting for there.
Yep, that's him.
The vampire.
In his
The
glory.
vampire. That guy. That guy who you're rooting for.
But also, I mean, let's be honest. If we're going to be talking about really all that shit, we're just going to take a moment. And I don't know, Paul, you're not exactly one to talk here. I mean, look at that face.
I don't know, but I got a good rack though. It's very nice there.
You know what? Also,
It is impressive.
Alternatively,
I like the mirror image they got going on there when you look at it too. That's pretty good there, though. Well, we gotta get one for Kelsey. I don't think she has one yet.
Oh my gosh, we need to get one for Kelsey.
No, you don't.
I think we're gonna get them on that. We're going to get them on that.
You gotta get one for Kelsey.
Oh,
get on it.
Great.
Yeah, Jake, if you're looking, if you're out there. Oh, you were. You're backstage. Jake, just nod. Give me a thumbs up, Jake, if you're gonna do that. He's got a thumbs up. All right, we're gonna do that.
It's coming. It's
Why? I'm gonna boot you all from my show.
No, I'm just saying I can boot y'all from the show because I set this whole thing up. Just saying.
Saying. I was going to say you're doing it on my account, so I can put you all off too. So it's all good.
There's a vote.
It's very true.
Can't be as Harley Quinn. That's not as embarrassing. You gotta have an embarrassing one. Like a little.
Thanks for trying, guys, but they're gonna embarrass me. It's fine.
What's family if not just to embarrass each other? I mean, let's be honest.
I can't deny that. I can't agree with that more.
Kelsey, you know what I really want to do sometime? I really, since you do Harley, I really want to do Ivy sometime.
You should.
I will get a wig or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I kind of want to. I've always wanted to because it just looks so cool. I just think it would be a fun time.
Ivy is one of my favorite characters for sure.
Ooh, giving us a little hint into what Jake's creating.
Ooh, there you go. She might like that one too. She might like that one quite a bit. I can't do the cosplay thing. I've never done the cosplay thing.
Cosplay is so fun because you get to be one of your favorite characters for a little while. Making the costumes is my favorite part, though. Like I sew and I make things out of Warbler, and I'm extra crafty.
I think I'm too lazy for it. That's what it is. I'm like, look, that'd be kind of cool, but I'm like, wait, I gotta actually do this work and make it. And
yeah,
it
does take
fingers, and I can't do that's just never works.
My Harley, the Batman the animated series Harley costume, the bodysuit and the mask, everything like that, super basic costume, was about 60 hours to make.
Damn.
And that was it was very basic.
The only cosplay I can ever suggest now, I do want to give a shout out to Kristen McGee, who cosplayed as me, because that's how crazy quarantine's been making her. But Chris, that was very good.
You know what? In her defense, it's not that hard. I have low-key been cosplaying as you.
Fair enough. He's got the mustache.
For weeks.
What I gotta do is throw that mustache on.
I mean, I already do. I just need to put some darkening stuff on it. I just don't wax it. I probably should wax actually.
Gargo and embarrass her, but put her as Casper. I can see that.
That's funny.
That's true. You know what? If there is one character that would make me want to cosplay, it would be some Ed Harris character like Darren Hummel, because that would be perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much I want to cosplay as Poison Ivy. I just want to cosplay as Belle as Poison Ivy. I think I love Belle so much. She's so great. And everything she does, I love her. So I remember when I heard her doing behind the scenes stuff for Poison Ivy, I was like, perfection.
She steals that show. She really does. She's
so funny. I love her.
She is so dry and sarcastic. It's I wish you were my best friend, Belle. Oh my gosh.
Shocking, we got off the rails somewhere. I don't know how this all started.
Are you saying we go off the rails?
It does.
You're saying we get sidetracked?
It might
never
happen. I'll just sit there and drink to that and be okay.
Lucas doing Mr. Freeze cold puns.
Sing.
He doesn't need to dress up as Mr. Freeze in order to whip out those cold puns. Let me tell you. Lucas is puns.
Where is Lucas? Is he there? I haven't heard from him yet.
Where? I don't know. Yeah, he's here somewhere. Sure. I don't know. Maybe it was like the amount of hats. He used so much of the hats and everything from like last night's stream. Lucas was the real rock star of the stream last night.
Although I gotta say, there he is. He's in the chat. Thank you. Glad you're around, Lucas. Actually, I will give Lucas the credit for being the rock star last night, but I will give Alex the credit as well because of how stoic she remained, no matter what was going on.
Not break face or anything.
Every time you would take him out,
I tend to differ. Like
the only time you did it was when the drum was happening. When the drum happened, he started throwing drumsticks at you.
Yeah,
he finally
thrown at you.
Drum, and I'm like.
Well, actually, I want to know who won the real steel match. Who kept one because he kept playing Rock'em Sock and Robot, and you just would go, you'd play, and then you go.
Well, Dean, I would love to have a Gucci hat. Just saying. So if you wanted to send me a Gucci hat, I'd be okay with that. Just saying. Yeah, we actually Luke's brother. He actually got us as a wedding present. He got us that as our wedding present.
That's a good wedding present.
And so we play it every once in a while. Let me see if it's right over here.
Actually, you know what, Malcolm? That's a good point, Malcolm. Did we ever have any rails to go off last night? I don't know.
We had no rails last night.
There, that's a brilliant thing. That's a beautiful wedding right there. That's marriage in a nutshell.
Yeah, that is accurate.
Yeah, but just saying I won 90% of the time. So.
Yeah, he's giving you credit. Lucas is giving you credit where credit's due.
It's true. It's good. I am perfect.
But okay, anyway, I say who's the boss. Kelsey's who's the boss. Alice, who do you have?
Yeah, probably who's the boss. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, just judging by the teams alone, do I want? I mean, obviously, do I want? I would love for who's the boss to win. Wouldn't be surprised either of them, honestly. I just wish who's the boss would win as part of a different faction.
You know, it is kind of fun. That's true.
90% of the time.
Well, Alex, the heel robot. That's God. Anyway, I agree. The Defense Stock Exchange definitely is multiplying. Wow, that's definitely the wrong one that I'm saying. But they're monopolizing the belts, and so I can see people really starting to turn against them for that reason. Get somebody else in. I mean, I think we talked about this at one point, Alex. You were very strong about that, about getting somebody else besides Dan Murrell or anybody else.
Yeah. Well, Dan Murrell, he deserves every level of respect in the world, obviously. It's very hard to see anyone realistically go up against him on that level. We talk about how amazing Bateman and Roca and, Bibbs and how awesome and amazing all these competitors are, but it's just Murrell in particular. He's been so good for so long. It's hard not to put him on a pedestal.
I get it.
Against everyone else.
Absolutely. I do want to see Bateman go back up against him. I really do. I think that was a great match. That was probably the greatest match I've seen, I think. Well, outside of Andrew Ghai and Murrell. That's the greatest match I've ever seen.
Greatest match of all time.
Different story why. Anyway, going off the rails.
As we do.
Back to you, Kelsey, for more.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on that before we move on? I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to see what happens. Huh? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just thought of a potential match for an exhibition match.
Okay, go ahead.
Ooh.
Random one. I would really love to see one on cult movies.
Cult movies, okay.
Cult
How
movies?
do you define a cult movie? It's always one of those
I know. Well, that's the thing. That's why it makes it really difficult. The idea of a cult movie is like very difficult. Like I don't know if I would even call Rocky Horror Picture Show a cult movie really anymore. It's so mainstream and everyone knows about that movie. And the idea of a cult movie is like it's kind of a secret, It's for the community. I mean, in theory, it's very much a social aspect as well. Like you're part of this community when you see it. But I would love to see that happen. I don't think it would happen. But I think because it would be very difficult to put like a match like that together, but I would love to see it happen.
I mean, that is where you have to start. It has to be something that did not do well at the theaters, because that obviously if it did well at the theaters, then it's not a cult movie. but it has found an audience. But I guess the
But
question
Videodrome.
would be defining like what is having an audience at this point. But that's a category. I'm just saying, like, I know it's a hard time to determining what that is. Just some that are obvious. I do think Rocky Horror is a cult movie in all sense of the word, especially considering you have people who go to the showings and throw everything in the screen. That's a different kind of cult.
So
but-
everyone and their mom knows about it, and everyone and their mom knows about it, and as a result, I mean, it's just such a huge thing. Even Tim Curry, he says, he even said it in interviews. Yeah, that movie's not a cult movie anymore. It hasn't been a cult movie for 30 years. And so, I mean, it's because it's just so widely publicized and widely loved now. Now, not to take any love away from it. It's still obviously immensely enjoyable and everything. It's just, the idea of a cult movie, is not secretive anymore. Scott Pilgrim, arguably a cult movie, absolutely.
One of the best movies of all time.
Could absolutely cats could absolutely
future cult movie. Potentially.
Maybe.
Oh God, I hate that movie. Princesses.
Chris Evans, don't lose cult status. I guess it's hard to say whether you can or not. I mean, you also got to think for Rocky Horror, the cult part could also be the fact that the fan base is so dedicated to it. That they have all those exhibitions where they actually get involved is like an interactive thing. That in of itself can make it a cult.
This is Star Wars movies, cult movies. Jurassic Park. I mean, is Jurassic Park movies?
No, Jurassic Park's definitely not. But Star Wars never failed at the box office. That's the difference.
They didn't fail at the box office.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's why. I mean, Rocky Horror failed at the box office, then found an audience that is devoted and interactive with it.
Okay. So what I mean, in that case, there would have to be a knowledge of box office.
Well, that's the starting point. It's definitely the starting point. That could be.
Flash Gordon, absolutely.
Actually, probably because of My Boys more than anything else, because of Queen, because of the song. I think the song's actually probably more known than the movie is. I mean, the character is well known, obviously, but I'm not going to play the cue. I play the cue because it retires again. That was yesterday for anniversarial purposes.
Yeah, Jake, I want to let you know, Boondock Saints is about a couple of really pretentious brothers that are vigilantes that are assholes.
I'm just looking down. I'm looking at. Just so you know, when you're on StreamYard, you can see the person backstage. It's like it's a grayed out screen, so don't seem quite as like normal. But I can even I can see the whites of Jake's eyes.
The rage.
Like that. Yes, and I would do that. I would love it. Peter. Highlander's also another cult movie. I think Highlander's actually on there one that's a cult. I consider it a cult classic movie as well.
Biopics would be really solid. Or I love I remember someone telling me about like book to movie adaptations, and I was like, you might as well include every fucking movie in that category then.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
You can do that specifically like war book to movies. You can do that on biopics. You can do that on literally any category, coming of age, young adult adaptations.
That's
it's a very broad one. Yeah.
I mean, you could do like you were talking about franchises. You could do exhibition matches with specific franchises as a thing instead of like you could do Lord of the Ring. You could Middle Earth. I mean, you already do Star Wars. We've already had Harry Potter. We could definitely do a Middle Earth one. We could do like a Star Trek was another good one they did, and MCU, DC. I mean, do all of those. Those are like fun because those tend to be what we all know. I'm giving
graphic. I would love to see. Well, especially I think they just decide to take comic book movies like as a slice off the main. Yeah, I
think it's just IG now.
Yeah, it's all thrown into
the IG.
I think it's all just IG now. Yeah.
So I mean, like, I feel like, comic book movies.
I like that. One word titles.
Cats. Boyhood.
Cars.
Cars.
Brave.
Changeling. Where else could I start?
Warrior.
I can't. Towelhead.
Eraserhead.
Haha. Video
Halloween.
Oh,
All right, yeah.
gonna keep
Come
going.
on, Kelsey, you're losing it. You're losing it, Kelsey. Come on.
Shag. Oh, sorry, Shag. Thanks,
Technically,
Peggy.
got at chapter 2, so that didn't work.
Tank Girl. Forgot about Tank Girl. That's a solid one.
Tank Girl is a cult. That's a good cult movie. That's true. Mulan.
I love
Mulan.
Right. A lot of Disney movies maybe they have that. I don't know. Maybe that's
Yeah, there's a lot of Disney movies. One word title.
Jaws,
Cinderella.
Aliens. There are thousands. We can really go on forever.
Do this for like 10.
We're gonna do this for now 5 hours.
Hours and hours.
This might be for the charity stream.
We're just gonna say one word titles.
We can do the whole charity stream. Will just be us coming to one word title movies.
Okay, but you guys in the chats, what movies, what exhibition matches and stuff would you guys love to see? Are there like super hyper focused categories that you guys would love to see, or anything like, I don't know, pirate movies or like 70s coming of age movies? I have no clue.
70s coming of age is a little specific, I think.
No, I'm gonna one up you. I remember chatting with Mark Hoyk in LA, and I was like casually like, oh, what would you consider strengths? And he's like, I would love to argue German coming of age movies from the 70s. And I thought he was kidding. And he's like, no, really? And I was like, and I saw Shannon's face next to him be like,
there you go.
Sipping her drink. Crime movies,
mafia movies could be really good. Would
There's
be good.
A ton of mafia movies. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Goodfellas. I mean, Scorsese himself.
Documentaries.
I love mockumentaries.
Oh, what was it? It was like, oh my gosh, Best in Show. I love Best in Show.
I love Best in Show.
So good.
And the Mighty Wind.
Mighty Wind. Oh my god.
I love that movie so much.
Slow your roll in here, Ben. You have no power here. We can boot you instead of you booting us like you do in SCN, just so you know. So slow your roll there.
It's all right. If they boot you, I'll boot them. It's fine.
Yes, Carl. I said it earlier.
Yeah.
We definitely did the bond.
I'm kind of curious. So Danny has mentioned specifically foreign films, and I know a lot of people have talked about, foreign films possibly having a foreign movie slice and everything. Obviously, I mean, Parasite just won Best Picture and Best Director and all that good stuff. As it deserved, obviously. It was amazing. How would you guys feel about foreign films as a slice or exhibition match or something like that?
I will say that
slice.
A slice. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely it's a great slice. It's definitely worthy of a slice. And I even think it would be worthy of an exhibition match. I would not do very well in it. I admit that. That's probably one of my weaknesses is I haven't watched many of those guys. I'm just starting to get into a few of those more or less now.
Yeah.
With the Romans coming over with the Bong Joon-ho, like Snowpiercer and last, of course. Those are coming over, so I started to watch them more. But I know that I wonder if the demo of the audience would be as into it as some of the other ones. But hopefully getting there. So it'd be interesting to say.
I think that one have it as a wheel slice at first, because then people will hear the names of movies and maybe check them out, and then maybe like next season.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh yeah.
I wonder because obviously not every single foreign film gets into an American movie theater. So I am kind of curious how that would come about, because honestly, I mean, for a long time, I was very anti-foreign film when it comes to Schmoedown, just because to me, it's such a big category over all genres and every country. I mean, if you can have an entire exhibition match dedicated to Bollywood romance dramas specifically. I mean, and Bollywood, they make like 20 times more movies than Hollywood does.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're considered much more profitable than Hollywood does.
It's very true.
Nationally, it's huge. It's a lot bigger. So to me, it's a little bit difficult. I love the idea of like maybe having foreign films that have guaranteed been in American theaters or like award-winning specifically movies.
Well, hopefully as we go forward, we'll get more.
It's very gray area specifically.
I will say that introducing new wheel slices seems to be a thing about new competitors don't want many more new slices, because that just means there's whole new worlds for them to have to explore. But there's the flip side also, is that their new category or new categories equals new questions that are more surface level.
Yep, exactly.
Easier
The more surface
type
level of the question.
Questions. So they're both sides. So
yeah. I do love the idea of
I like that movies with Sean Connery.
Single movie. GoldenEye, Equilibrium, Lord of the Rings.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Ronan.
Well, Paul, I was kind of curious. I remember listening to like top 10 Lord of the Rings characters from the Action Guys. And I remember talking to Lucas about it just the other day, and I was like, I can't believe Boromir is their number one favorite. And they were like unanimously, obviously, Boromir.
They love Boromir like nobody's business. That is their love of their life, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's because, like, is it Kelsey? Like, do you think it's because we're girls? Is it like we don't?
I'm like middle ground there. I like Boromir, all right. I think he deserves to be in the top 10, but not unanimously the number one choice. I feel like it's like,
I'm sorry, above Arwen, above.
I would put her above Arwen.
Arwen.
Arwen's okay.
That sure, I can understand that, but I mean, like. Above like Mary, above Pippin, above Samwise.
I will say it's funny that before I saw the Action Guys thing, I would not have put him up there. But I got to tell you, Ben and Drew, when they argue passionately about something, they tend to win me over, or at least like increase. Like Boromir definitely climbed up the charts after I heard that. Because
really, it's their job to people. Let's be honest. Ben, the question is: Is Boromir from Lord of the Rings? Does he deserve to be the number one
the greatest character in Lord of the Rings? That's what the Action Guys love. Ben and Drew love Boromir. Boromir's death scene is their favorite in the entire Lord of the Rings saga, hands down.
Yeah, exactly. Above Smeagol / Gollum, above Arwen, above, Aragorn, above Samwise. It's top 5.
Top 5, what are there in?
I'd say I can take it. I'm okay with someone being like, top. Personally, it's just someone I really connected to.
It fits in.
But above all these amazing characters,
it fits in their MO. It fits in their the swordsman of the Fellowship, little of Middle Earth. I don't think it's about the swordsman. I think they love what it is about Boromir for them. It's the flawed hero who has redemption.
I will ground you if you don't stop yelling. People hear you.
Who has the flawed hero that has redemption. That he has a great death scene where he gets to acknowledge Aragorn as his father. It's like a father figure in a way.
Okay.
And Ben loves that kind of stuff too. Ben's all about the father figure.
So if that's the case, we need to have more discussion about Faramir as a character and everything that he goes through as a character and the complete growth, like his growth cycle, throughout the trilogy. Come on, dude. But you know what? We're not here to talk about Lord of the Rings.
I think honestly, I'll interject real quick. I would love to have us do some kind of episode somewhere where we do go in top 10 Lord of the Rings characters. I would love to have that discussion.
Is that something you guys?
Then I will send that to you afterwards. It's AMA Action Movie Anatomy. If it's in Lord of the Rings, I'll send it to you afterwards.
We'll send it to you. Absolutely. But is that something you guys want to see above Elrond? Dude, love Elrond.
Above Elrond.
Also, but with that in mind, what else do you guys want to see from Call to Action in general? Is there any specific kind of content you would love us to see? I know Kelsey is doing so many amazing things. Kelsey, my girl. I hope you feel it.
Yeah, I know that's what they've always been curious. A long time ago, we kind of voted as a podcast to be just Schmodown content. Like that was our focus, Schmodown. If you guys want other things from us or not, we'd like your feedback.
Well, yesterday's anniversary stream was definitely less Schmodown, more. I don't know what the fuck it was about.
Chaos.
More chaos. But I think it is, like Kelsey said, it is time that maybe we could always revisit that idea to do other movie related stuff, like ranking Lord of the Rings characters, for example, or something like that. That's something we could definitely revisit if people would like to see us talk about that. I think we are going to stay. Especially, I think it's easier to talk about this now since Schmodown is a little lesser at this point. We got lesser to talk about with all the stuff going on. So maybe in the meantime.
We can have little schmo bait matches in here.
We could. We could always do more schmo baits. I've been wanting to do it. I gotta defend
my. Can't have enough schmo baits.
Every conversation between Paul and I is a schmo bait. Let's be honest, guys.
Pretty much. That's pretty much true.
We are walking schmo baits.
And I'm still undefeated. I feel like I'm still undefeated.
Absolutely. I mean, but also voters can be wrong sometimes. I mean, like they voted against me, having Rachel on a road trip. So, they can be wrong. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can acknowledge that. People can be wrong. It's fine. Studio Ghibli, I'm still not 100% sure. Exhibition match, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be good.
Really great.
I don't know what else we'd like. We're all silent because we don't know. I think we get through them all at this point. I always want to see more of the. I like the franchise ones. Maybe a Stephen King one.
Stephen King one, that would be my jam.
Could be cool. That could be cool.
That'd be really awesome.
Horror franchises.
Ooh, what about famous cameos? No.
Famous. I don't know if you could do a slice on that.
That'd be super difficult now that I think about it. Yeah.
That's true. We could. We could. So maybe we will revisit that at some point. Not on screen right now. We won't go into it any more further on screen.
We're going to have a long discussion about it right this second.
We do have. And we need Alex versus Lucas in the Schmo Baits.
I don't know.
I don't know if Lucas could handle it.
I don't know. I feel like it would be incredibly biased because because Lucas, he would require the visualization of his legs in order to beat me.
Well, if Lucas shows his legs, it's all over. He beats everybody because he's got the hot gams, as we all know.
I mean, he even whips them out, like right there, hot gams.
If you saw on the show last night, he actually did that.
We saw the hot.
So if you haven't seen yesterday's episode,
that leg, he does have hot gams.
It looks like we have a guest in the background. Shall we bring him in?
Yeah.
Let's invite him on.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
What's up?
I got called out today for not being on Schmo Baits or Chill to Action or anything, so I thought I'd.
No, we did not call you out. We promise.
I'm fine. So what were you guys talking about? Like, what exhibition match would you guys wanted to see?
Yeah, what exhibition match would be fun? What would you want to be in?
Yeah. Honestly, like my favorite things about movie trivia are like the in-movie questions. Like not so much like actors, directors, composers, stuff like that, but just like what happens in the actual movie. And I'd love if like the first round of Inner Geekdom would all be just that. Like I feel like the Inner Geekdom thing could really differentiate itself from regular Schmodown. If it was just like, oh, what, like, like more of like in plot things of like Lord of the Rings, like, oh, what kind of armor was Aragorn? What did Aragorn take off Boromir after he died? And it was his gauntlets, and he wore them. And so like just stuff like that, where like you have to have seen and really enjoyed the movie to like get into that. So that's why I love that Harry Potter exhibition match, because it was all what spells did they use, what class did they teach, that kind of stuff of where like true movie nerds know that kind of stuff. You have the Rain Men of Ben Bateman that can study an IMDb page like no one's business, and I love and respect him for it. And it's obviously worked all the way to a belt. And one of the greatest matches we've ever seen to lose the belt, one question away. But I still do I have that because I know Nerd Chronic and Video Drew have been doing those quizzes on their stream.
Yeah.
And I felt like those quizzes are more in that vein of like just really watching the movie.
I almost feel like that'd be an interesting idea is to actually use video. I mean, I don't want to steal their idea for Showdown, but having exhibition matches on one specific movie, like because they've been taking that. And that's a really deep dive. You get somebody who really loves Ghostbusters or really loves whatever, and go at it. See who knows the movie that well.
Would the format change? Because I mean, obviously, like right now, I feel like a one pointer is like who's the director or who's the composer kind of thing. But I feel like it's you can go into like bigger plot points in the 1 point questions, but minor questions are much more and beyond are much more in depth, like you're talking about. So they would have to get even more difficult than they already are after the second round, if that makes sense.
I think maybe like the first round, you could have like 8 questions, and one question could be actors, one question could be characters, one question could be, you know, like like first act, second act, third act, stuff like that. You know, vehicles, weapons, and upgrades and stuff like that could be a category where you break the movie down into certain categories. And it could only be 2 rounds, and you just have 4 really tough deep dive questions of like what, you know, Civil War, or like we have like so many Endgame's a 3-hour movie. You don't think you could come up with 3 rounds of one game of Endgame? Just have an Endgame match. That's all you have it, and you have to watch Endgame over and over and over, and it's just like, what insult does Tony Stark call Thor? Calls him Lebowski. What does Rhodey say Thor has pumping through his veins? Cheese whiz. Like, and just stuff like that, where it is fun to see, like, oh yeah, I've seen Endgame. I know these lines. It's not, you know, who scored Endgame or who the cinematographer was it. And it's just like, I love that. And I respect, because Smets is on the Inner Geekdom level as well, of knowing lore questions and knowing all the technical IMDb stuff, and that's what makes him such a great player. Same with Rachel Cushing and Mike Kalinowski. That's what separates them, and like that's why they're either competing for titles all the time or defending titles all the time. But I think it'd still be fun for people, you know, like we saw the DCEU question with Kalinowski of like, oh, like everyone seemed to know those, like, oh, who directed Man of Steel, but then like fun questions of like, David Harbour was in what DCEU movie as a random senator? Suicide Squad. So it's like you still have those kind of varying questions of like, they might be surface level, but then, you know, third round, you really get into the deep plot points. Something that, that time in Thor: The Dark World, what? Let's have a Thor: The Dark World match and see who wins that. Exactly. The winner of that is the real loser, actually.
Like, that should be a punishment for losing another match, maybe.
Yeah, dude. My power went out the other day, and I downloaded Thor: The Dark World on Disney Plus for the Atlanta trip, and that's all I had to watch. And whew, that's a tough one. That is a tough movie to watch. Even when you have no other options because your power's blacked out, it's almost best to just sit there in the darkness.
Oh, poor Chris Eccleston.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh my god. I'm just saying, like, there's like, I can't remember. There's been like several actors that played the Doctor in the movies. Like Doctor Who. Yeah. I mean, like, there's like a bunch of them, like Doc Huston, Kate, what's her face?
David Tennant.
Well, I got that Middle Earth question.
Radagast.
Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah,
Radagast. Finally remember that one.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people. I can't remember her name. I feel bad. She's all in blue. I feel awful.
Oh, new Doctor? Yeah, I don't know her name either.
The new Doctor, Jodie Whittaker?
No. I mean, no, she was a Guardian.
She was a Guardian.
Oh, Karen Gillan?
Yep. Karen Gillan, yes.
You're not. I thought you were just talking about the doctors themselves. Characters.
She's not the Doctor, but I mean, she's like.
Yeah, I always love in questions like, this Harry Potter alumni starred in this movie. It's like, that doesn't help. All of England has been in Harry Potter. Get out of here.
That British actor.
Yes.
Well, so I write every day. I try to make like a good 30 or 40 questions, like from some category, whether it be like directors or heck, comic book movies, all the way to rom-coms, whatever the situation is. Penny Marshall questions actually was a category I was working on earlier today. But specifically, it can be really, I don't like to say it can be really difficult, but I mean, like, the purpose of like the first round is that they're supposed to be easy. I mean, not supposed to be like super easy where like I'm writing this question for the purpose of that person getting the point, but it should be like, as like a general film goer, that actively watches movies, they should at least try to like get somewhere close to this answer.
And that's Oh no, go ahead, Paul. This is your show. Don't let me.
No, not sorry. You're the guest. Go ahead.
Just like I had PJ on Thursday, and it's always great. Like PJ's one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet.
Love PJ.
And we were talking about that. It's just like us in this space. We have made this our job. We have made this our thing that we love movies and we love watching movies. So yes, these round one questions are fucking T-ball. Just like knock them out of the park. And you're supposed to engage this audience of people that are, walking around the mall. It's like, oh, there's no sports going on. Let's watch this movie trivia. But if they watch this round one and it's like, who directed this 1975 horror classic that was released on 3 screens in Italy? It's like, oh, cool. So this is only for the smarts. And it's the same with Jeopardy. Jeopardy, yeah, it's only for Bibbs. Bibbs is just playing himself. And it's like you have the $100 answers / questions for Jeopardy, and then you have the daily doubles. Then you have the $1,000 questions in round 2. That's when you get the deep pulls, when you're like, damn, Ken Jennings, you are a genius. And that's what the round 3 questions are. That's what the 5-pointers are for. Like Adam Witt, I loved Adam. Like I was rooting for Sean because he's in the den with me. But everybody in the studio, including Sean's girlfriend, clapped when Adam Witt got that 5-pointer. Like 3 repeats, and then he pulled it out of nowhere, and it was amazing. And that's what you love to see. That's what you play the Schmodown for. And that's what you watch the Schmodown for. It's like, you know what? I can play along in round 1, but then you get to see the true knowledge of like, who knows if ScarJo, you might know ScarJo, you might know movie quotes, you might know Sam Jackson, but you don't know what it's going to be. And that's where you get the obscure knowledge. That's where you get Chance Ellison, who has shown himself to be a true freak of nature at this game. And just like, you wonder what his weakness is. Does he have one? We're going to find out. I sound like BoJack Horseman right there. Celebrities, what do they know? Do they know things? Let's find out.
I would love to see a movie trivia show similar to Schmodown, only with Jeopardy style.
Jeopardy
format. I would love that. It would be like categories. It would be like ScarJo and comic book movies. Another one would be like 70s horror thriller.
Yeah. Or I really do like that of like one movie.
Stuff.
Yeah, I like the idea of one movie also. I think that's a
for these exhibition matches. But I get it because like even for like something like Harry Potter, a lot of people don't tune into those, even if they're Patreon matches. Just like, oh, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, so I don't want to watch a Harry Potter. And it's the same thing with the round 1. It's like, oh, I don't know these Harry Potter questions because maybe they are deep and lore based or something. It's like, so I'm going to tune out. And same with horror. Like that horror exhibition was insane. Right. Even watching it in studio, I was like, oh, I like horror movies. Okay. And then like, I don't know who started Hellraiser 3, the 3rd lead stunt actor. Get out of here. Exactly.
Doing that one.
Yeah. So you got to find the balance, and I really feel the writers, and I know like there's the controversy from earlier today, and I talked to PJ about it. We were all joking about that kind of stuff, and there's always going to be of like, oh, is that a 5-pointer? Was that hard enough? Right. But as long as it sticks like with the 5-pointer stuff, then maybe I'm okay with it without them calling out the writers by name, which I really think we need to do away with. Yeah. But like there's always going to be, because it's so subjective. A 5-pointer for me is not going to be a 5-pointer for Bibbs. It's not going to be a 5-pointer for Ben. Like, if it is a deep cut, Ben and Drew talked about The Patriot. If it is a deep cut Mel Gibson Patriot thing, they're going to get it right away. Yeah. Like, what is the first word the daughter says in The Patriot? It's daddy. Then someone's going to get that. But Bibbs, who has this vast array of knowledge, maybe put The Patriot on the back burner because who knows when The Patriot is going to be a 5-point question.
He's probably more focusing on Suspiria.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like going into that, like RB3's 5-pointer, I had no idea. He had no idea. But Bibbs was like, oh yeah, that was Vincent Price. He just got it because Bibbs is a horror expert. That's his wheelhouse.
Yep.
Well, Bateman has always made that distinction pretty well. I can't remember exactly how he words it, but it's the difference between having deep cut knowledge of a movie versus like that's the 5-point. It's not like a specific way because it's always going to be subjective, but there could almost be a guideline for what it should be. Like you should have to have seen this or should have to have but it's kind of level that we can get there, but it's still kind of a work in progress. I feel at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's like I do agree with that. That I do think a 5-pointer should be you've had to seen the movie. You can't read the plot synopsis. You can't read IMDb. You've had to seen the movie. But even today, I was like skimming over Roca versus Ghai, and it was a director question, but it's a director of a movie maybe you haven't heard of. Or no, it was like who directed, and they did. It was like the Nick and Nora question. He gave Tom Hardy stars in this political thriller about a Soviet, so and so something. And it's what is it?
Child 44.
Yeah, Child 44. I didn't know it, and I was like, that's so like you wouldn't think just based on giving the entire synopsis of the whole movie and the leading actor, like on paper, if you tell me, hey, I'm going to give you the whole plot or like basically the movie tagline, the plot line, and the leading actor, can you get it? I'll be like 9 out of 10 times I can get it. That's the one right there. That's the 5-pointer question right there.
Well, so I know Drew Ghai, he even like mentioned, I remember him talking about on the Action Guys, it feels like forever and a day and ago when they were part of Collider.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of weird. I'm like, it feels like years ago, honestly, with everything going on. But I remember they were talking about their favorite horror movies of the decade, and they're referring to specifically The Descent. And Ghai in particular, he's talking about how The Descent from like 2002 or like 2006, 2006 is one of his favorite horror movies ever. It's one of mine too. It's a great movie. Yeah. And he says it's like a movie he loves watching like every year kind of thing, with his family and all that good stuff. He knows that movie backwards and forwards, but when he was given that movie in Schmodown, he was given the plot in the year.
He still couldn't get it.
Couldn't get it?
He couldn't pull out his ass.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
And especially like people always say, is it easier playing from home? The main thing about being easier, it's not the lights, it's not the pressure, it's being able to read the question. Being able to read the question on screen. Yes, like people use repeats mostly to like stall for time to think, but honestly, like sometimes you just don't hear it, or like in the Pride match, like I legitimately forgot all the multiple choice, and so I was like, we get a free one, like because they're all Adam Sandler BFFs, like that's who stars in this movie. So I'm like, all right, so it's either David Spade, Kevin James, Steve Buscemi, like you can list them all, but it's like I need it one more time. Right. So just being able to read the question on screen is such an advantage. Like I wish we could have like if we had a teleprompter up there. But you could still use a JTE just for time. Like everyone would be scoring over 20 every single game.
I totally agree because a lot of people learn that way. Some people are auditory, but a lot of people will just they hear it and they need to see it as well.
Like when I play on stream, I'm like I'm doing this because if I'm reading the thing on my computer, it's such an advantage. It's even if I don't know the answer, I'm like, God, something sounds so familiar.
What?
But what up, Robert? How you doing, bud? But and like obviously the lights and the pressure go into it, but honestly, like 90% is just the simplicity of being able to read the question.
Yeah,
I feel like there's got to be a way to do that. There's got to be a way to be able to do that somehow. But I'm sure it's a budget thing. Or
no, you can't, Dean. And especially when you have like Mark and Christian, who have obviously a great rapport, Ken and Mark on the desk cracking jokes. Like it's great for people at home because, like, yes, you can't have 15 seconds of dead air. I totally get it. But when Mark is saying, I used to spend my summers in West Virginia, I'm dying laughing on stage trying to think of an answer. And I'm just like, God, Mark, I love you, but shut up for a second. I'm trying.
Yeah, it kind of like takes you out of the moment. Like, what?
Yeah.
Well, that's why Christian definitely came up with the idea that you can't talk during the questions anymore. Some people have been doing that, I guess, a few times. Like during the questions, there have been a little taunting thing going on around too, and that makes sense to me. Like that takes it a little too far as that takes the sport out of it. Taunting in between questions, go right the fuck ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of a weird thing because I know with your match, obviously, that just came up last week. Obviously, it was like one of those matches where it really, if you're really confident in your character and everything, obviously, I mean, you can really kind of talk about it and everything. You can really kind of do some quips here and there, obviously, but doing that while actively competing, like coming up with the quits, going back and forth and everything while like trying to figure out an answer and everything, it can be very, very difficult. Yeah. because I mean, sometimes like the moment you get done with the moment you get done reading, like not reading, but like answering questions or whatever, then you go into the character again, and vice versa. Obviously, the moment you get into a game where you need to start answering questions, you take the character out of what you're kind of trying to think about.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, like Vinny Mancuso is one of the funniest people. Like I'd met him that day and he was so nice. He was so funny. And then like, I don't know if you saw Kaiser's little promo vid for the dungeon where Vinny like doesn't cry at Mystic Pizza. Like I'm crying laughing. And this guy's sitting there next to me in a denim vest, drinking a margarita out of a pitcher. And I am like, oh, I'm a heel. I need to be mean to this person, but I just want to hang out with this guy. And so it's tough.
Margarita? That's what we want to know. That's a real question. Or is it with like lime Kool-Aid?
No, I mean, I even asked that because I didn't see him in the promo and stuff. I met him literally backstage right before we went on. But if you watch the promo, it's frozen in there. It's a frozen margarita, and then like it's really hot in that studio, so it melted pretty fast. But it was a real frozen margarita, and it's so funny. Like you saw people commenting because we filmed it a while ago, but we just premiered it with everything going on. People were like, "Why is he sharing this drink?" I'm like, guys. Relax. This is not current. This was not a live stream.
Right. It's sad. We only have like 8 left now, 7 left, something like that before.
Like May 15th is till we have matches for. Now that we're doing one a week, which I like. Like it sucks that we only release on Patreon on Monday, so we can't talk about it like on Tuesday on Backstage. And I get it. I get why, but I'm hoping, that's the goal, and hopefully this whole thing doesn't set us back too far. Is that like we want to get to that point of like it's pay-per-view, so if you can get it, that's awesome. If not, you got to stay off Twitter. You got to not watch Backstage that day. And granted, like I'm totally fine with not talking about it on SCN, but if we're doing full spoilers on Backstage, you just got to wait.
I think absolutely you got to be able to do. You have to be able to do spoilers. Otherwise, you're waiting a long time for that.
Yeah, a full week. And I get it with everything going on right now. Absolutely. And yeah, I was gonna say that's what makes Andrew Ghai such a good player. That's what makes Tom. Tom is crazy that he can be this and still get a perfect round and still get 35 points. Yeah, and it's nuts. Right? And same with Video Drew. Like
Lon Harris.
Yeah. I haven't like. It was Lon Lon just walking into studio. I was like, sir. Oh, sorry, Lon. Yeah. Come on.
Okay,
I love that Lon has done 2 characters.
There to Campa that she does. All these people, they do break kayfabe. If you ever are able to participate in Video Drew's live streams, she is actually very sad that some people like legitimately think that's the way she is in real life. So well, because I remember chatting with her and she's like, she told me, she's like, yeah, like someone made a post on the MTS page that saying that they're scared of me. Alex, why do you think people are actually scared of me still? I thought I broke it months ago, and I was like, no one's actually scared of me.
No one's.
Are you sure? I don't want anyone to actually be scared of me.
I think it goes back to that. Was their first match against Paul and Zipper? Was that Looney Bin's first match?
Paul and
I just remember like the moment where like Drew like tries to hug both of them and they both like kind of scurry away. Like I feel like that was such a benchmark for Video Drew, is that like she just had that intimidating like crazy aura, but after they almost broke the team's record, like they took Zipper and Oyama to the wire that game. Right. I thought they had it, and they got a tough 5-pointer about Matilda, but they had that game in the bag.
They did. They really did. That's tough. I mean, I remember even some people really buy into these things, that some people don't understand the kayfabe still. Even now, it was even worse before. I mean, people used to think Ben and
I'm one of them.
Were the biggest assholes ever play a game. And then they went over to saw Action Movie and Admin, like, wait, this is Ben and Drew? This is these.
I mean, that's my Andrew Ghai story. Is that when I can't remember what match he came into film, but it was like last summer when I was being an intern there and just kind of helping out, and I was just running around, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I'm Andrew." I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Ben. I'm new here." He's like, "Yeah, I usually like to hang out here just so everyone knows I'm not actually an asshole." And like that's his first thing to me, and I was like, Well, it worked because, I was always like, okay, this is an act. But, I'm such a big Dan Murrell fan before I met Dan Murrell. So, like, that match was like, oh, this son of a bee. And then, but it was honestly the free-for-all.
Son of a bee.
Yeah, put your dukes up. Yeah, bully day. But it was honestly, it was the free-for-all. And even Drew says he went like a little too far of like, no, like you're gonna have some random dude win this after 40 rounds. No one gives a fuck. And I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, that's what he is. He's the best.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like when you go over to act, when you go into literally anything else that Andrew Ghai does, he's a sweetheart. He's a big old teddy bear, and that's why I was like, okay, yeah. You need to be an actor because you're really, really good at this. Like, because you're really convincing, and only he can make that turn into dastardly. Only he can do it. Just like at the drop of a hat, to be like, you know what? I don't want to be a heel anymore. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. And everyone's like, you know what? I'm with you. I get it.
It's funny because we just actually watched on the Action Guys at the Rewind on their Patreon. They watched the match where they had finally called Jen Sturger Jessica for the first time. And it's such pure gold how he does work these interviews. And then you see him in Debonair, though, you wonder how is Drew going to handle a face turn or whatever, going from heel to face. And he does it so well that he still is able to have the zingers, but he does it in such a great way.
I don't think you think that looks the way you think it looks, Mike.
Oh my God, that was so good.
It's not your fault. It's not.
Yeah. Well, Mike, you're over there. You're doing good. You're deep throating that lollipop. And it's not like he's not even saying it in a mean way. He's just talking, and he's just, it's so perfect. And there's some cutscenes, guys, that we got, and they're A+ content, and I can't wait for you guys to see them.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited that.
Yeah.
I like that too. I think that, but talking about fans in kayfabe, and you saying that too, like it seems like sometimes the players don't understand it. Because I know Drew said that before, like that Dan was like pissed at him for a while, and like people get pissed. They don't even understand how the kayfabe works, and they can't handle it. So how has that been like for you?
I mean,
you know what's going on. So
yeah. And I mean, with Mara coming on backstage and, talking about like, they had pre-existing conditions of like what they were going to do during the match. She knew that like, okay, Mike is going to talk his shit before, the promos before, the interviews after. And that was fine. She just didn't like it during the match. And granted, like some of the stuff in our match, like when I play video games and I'm like, playing Call of Duty or something, I talk shit online to like people in the Twitch chat, but I'm not like in my mic calling someone like a so-and-so, like, hoping they go cry. Like, there's always that meme of like, you really became a man in a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 lobby because there was no mute button. You had to take every single insult and you just had to take it on your chin.
Right.
But so I am for maybe like a little smack talking between rounds, between questions, like friendly banter or something like that. But there definitely is a line of like too far. And, and especially me even being a heel, if I'm beating someone, right? Who would have guessed?
Alex doesn't know what a heel is. There's an ongoing thing. Alex doesn't know what a heel is, really.
But it's just like if I'm beating someone like by a lot, if that happens in any of my upcoming singles matches or something, I'm not gonna kick them while they're down. Like that's just not who I am as a competitor. Like I've played sports my whole life. I've never been that person. But if I play another heel and I heard what they were saying on Twitter, if I heard what they were saying in their promo, I tossed a bagel to RB3 afterwards because I knew he was gonna call me Bagel Boy. I knew like it was telegraphed a mile away, so I had that in my pocket. I didn't say anything. I just waited for it because I didn't know how the match was going to go, and it was a really close match, a 1-point victory, and that's all I did. I didn't make a big show of it. I just slid my bagel. I was like, choke on that, and that's all I said. and that was it. That's all you need to do. And that's my favorite kind of smack talking is like not overtly just like in your face. It's getting that that ninja knife, just like. And then they don't realize it until like 10 minutes later, and they go,
And the blood comes.
That's
Like Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade when the gun
Exactly.
goes off. Shit
Well,
off.
I do want to ask if that's the case. I mean, I do know that some competitors, they like to use that to their advantage. They like to use that back and forth and kind of character smack talk, even like during the match itself. I mean, like just I know we keep going back to the Merle Ghai match, but I mean that was a prime example. But him doing that smack talk in the middle of the match really got into Merle's head at the time. Obviously, that would never happen now, because I mean, like competitors are much more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And almost expected to a certain degree. But do you feel like it's almost bad manners to do it now versus before it's been a strategy, but now like expected so people don't do it as much?
I mean, like, I really don't feel like anybody generally dislikes anyone off camera. So if someone did come up to me and say, hey, like, I'm not, if I play Mara in Inner Geekdom and she says, hey, I'm not into the smack talking or the kayfabe, I'm going to respect that. Mm-hmm. But if someone doesn't and I'm supposed to be a heel, maybe I'll slide in one or two. You really have to, it's a case by case basis. And there's no flat out answer. There's no black and white answer to this. You have to read the room. You have to read the context of what you say to the person, when you say it, what's going on. Because if I play Roca, who I love to death, I love John Roca, and this isn't going to happen because I'm not playing Roca anytime soon. But if I'm beating Roca by 10 points going into the third round, I'm going to say something because it's Roca. Because Roca never misses an opportunity, and you saw it on Twitter today with a conversation that didn't have anything to involve with him. He took a shot, and I respect him for it because that's John. That's who John is. That's John's game, and that's exactly what you're talking about, Alex, and I totally get it, is that John is that kind of player to, not kick someone while they're down, but not let them get back up. Right. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to drive this nail home, and it's over. You see someone shook.
Yeah, so it seems like it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Like obviously you wouldn't do that to like Rachel Cushing or Mark.
That's actually a point. I'm sorry to interject, Alex, but specifically about that. And I wonder, and related, how much Christian gets involved in that aspect. At one point, Ben brought this up a while ago. I'm trying to paraphrase this. I'm hoping this is right. It was the match against the Shire Wolves where I believe Christian kind of told Ben and Drew and said, go easy on them in the pre-game or and Ben and Drew kind of felt like they kind of like took them off their game because they're kind of like, well, this is I can't go easy. I'm the heel. This is what we do. And so they kind of felt like they were walking eggshells and almost like threw them off a little bit.
I feel like that was such a special case because the Shire Wolves, it was because they were just getting hammered online.
Very true.
Because Drew and Sam, retired as champs. They never play them for champs. And even after the Shire Wolves won, people weren't giving them credit, even though Clark and Rachel are legitimately movie trivia geniuses. And anyone doubts them, like they've never watched the game. They never watched Clark play all the way through. They'd never watched Rachel almost win a 2v1 match. Like they just don't know anything about the game. And, ignorance is the loudest voice in the room, unfortunately. It's those people that are leaving the comments on YouTube in all caps of these women don't belong in this space. Like they didn't earn these belts and yada, yada, yada. So I felt like that was a very specific, special situation of like, you didn't want two dudes in suits on stage hammering these like champions and like adding that fuel to the fire. Like I felt like that was a very special situation. Because Rachel and Clark have been through hell and back when it comes to that stuff, and they can handle themselves. Like it had nothing to do with them being little snowflakes or anything with what people wanted to say that day. But it was literally just about like the brand of the Schmodown is supporting Clark and Rachel about them being champions, and Ben and Ghai are the best smack talkers the trivia's ever seen, along with Roca. Those three are like S level tier up there, but they wanted to keep the smack talking to about the game, not about them themselves. And that's where I feel like sometimes it crosses the line, is that it becomes way too personal. It becomes like, oh, you as a person are A, B, and C, not your game as a competitor is A, B, and C. People can, knock my game all they want. I am a rookie. I've only played 2 matches. Say what you want about whatever, but you got to keep it in the game. But yeah, I'll get out of your hair, guys. This is your show. I'm taking over too much.
Oh no, but we actually we do have someone actually also in the shadows. Actually, Jake, he wants to pop in.
Okay.
Really quick.
Oh,
This is gonna get dangerous, I feel. Jake, you're muted.
you're muted.
Starting off
No,
very
you're good,
wrong.
Jake. Keep going.
Sir.
You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. Keep it up.
Let me help you there.
We can't
No,
hear you, man.
You
You're
have to
muted.
unmute.
I can't unmute you. Yeah, I can't.
Jake,
Okay,
put on a
you
baseball
hear me?
cap.
There
There
you
you go.
are.
Hear
I don't like this. Jake, go put a hat on, please. I'm not. I'm shook right
Shut the
now.
fuck up, Ben. Okay, no, I need to call you out on your shit right now.
Oh boy,
Okay,
here we
you
go.
said that you were scared to come on Schmobates because you didn't know the history of the Schmodown, but you just spent the last 5-10 minutes going over the history of the Schmodown. So,
I'm at the storylines. I don't like. I've watched every match. But I was that guy that fast forwarded 20 minutes to play movie trivia. That's how much of a nerd I am.
That would have been a good bit. We could've-
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it too. No, but like I get what you mean, Jake. I just don't know the storylines and like the cutscenes. Like I've gone back and watched those.
You don't need to know the fucking storyline scenes. All you need to know is what has happened. And apparently you know what's happened because you've spent the last few months fucking watching all the Schmodown matches.
I would say you need to know the characters. You just need to know the people involved. That's
He
easy.
does know the characters.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
does know the people
Honestly,
that have been involved because he's spent the last few matches on Twitch, whoring himself out for money.
Yeah, you're damn right. Have you seen this economy, Jake? I am not essential. I am not essential.
You gotta do to pay those bills.
That's right.
Okay,
Feed pics, $10. PayPal.
Speaking of that, we're starting up a Streamlabs soon at some point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, basically, Ben said he was scared to come on Schmobates because
I didn't say scared, you fucking gaslighter. Put a hat on and go turn a light on, Jake. You
Son of a bitch.
son of a bitch.
Oh, gentle to me, Ben. Oh, David B.
That's all I need, David B. That's all I need.
No, okay, Jake, Ben, something to clarify. As the one that runs Schmobates, it's like, honestly, when it comes to that, honestly, I don't think you have to, I have had competitors being like, I don't know if I could argue it, or judge it just because I don't have knowledge of it. Honestly, when it comes down to it, people that do judge on Schmobates, they don't technically need to. I mean, it's not about them calling people out on their shit when it comes to arguments. Usually I do that for you guys. Ben versus Jake. There you go. This is actually
Jake, I saw you
guys.
I saw you tout your love for Boondock Saints. 1v1 me in a Boondock Saints movie trivia schmodown.
Oh, I will fuck you up.
Bring it on.
Okay, this is not the purpose of the show.
Any day of the week.
But Boondock Saints is a not good movie, guys.
Wow.
What?
No,
Welcome to Alex's Hot Take. Says
it's not a hot take. It's not a good movie.
It feels like the culture has slowly turned against Boondock Saints. Like
Yeah.
It's about a pair of vigilante brothers that speak Latin and a whole bunch of other languages just because they can. And they're assholes about it. And they're pretentious. And they're snobby with their, like, trying to be like, oh, no one else can know our languages because we're brothers and we were raised by the Catholic Church.
Yeah, you.
apparently this movie's a period piece.
Alex makes everything a period piece.
I know the 90s were a while ago, Alex. They weren't that long ago.
These are two.
Can I say 1940s Sabrina versus 1990s Alex? That's what we
Yes.
These are
Robots
men
only.
that decide that they don't like what locals are doing, so they just decide to just kill a whole bunch of people.
I do agree that
we're gonna just shoot up everyone.
I do agree that the
hostage. that are in the way, and it's.
I do agree that the porn shop place is not. It doesn't age well. The porn
really doesn't.
These poor guys, like one guy's a mafia boss. I get that, but these poor guys just went to go watch some porn or some lady strip, and they get killed for it. I was like, geez.
Like,
what a terrible way to die. You have like your dick in your hand in a porn shop. You're like, oh.
Maybe they died happy, maybe. I don't know.
Or do the strippers have to die too? I mean, like, what's the purpose here?
No, Alex, they didn't kill the stripper. They only sexually assaulted her while she was passed out.
That's true. There's a difference.
Man, you're right.
Oh my
God damn.
It's just like the Matrix. Like, I love the Matrix.
Whoa.
No, I love the Matrix,
whoa.
No, I love the Matrix, but after rewatch, I mean, I remember listening to this episode where they kind of, in light of today's, like, with shootings and everything, it's about, if you look at it from a certain point of view, a handful of guys, they go into a building clad in leather, and they're just like, we're just going to shoot up all these random people because
I know I can answer that one.
Cool.
I can answer that one.
You can't answer shit.
Jake, you're still muted, bud. You're still muted. Sorry. Can't hear you. Sorry. One more time there, bud.
Yeah, you mute me one.
I'm sorry.
Not me. Not me. That was not
God
me.
damn it, Paul.
Stop it.
But the only reason they shot up the security guards was because every security guard could become an agent. That's why they killed all those people.
But they said every person could become an agent. There was a little girl at one point in the movie that became an agent.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That was like 8 years old. Are you going to kill 8-year-old little girls now too?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What movie are you talking about?
Absolutely.
In the Matrix, there was an 8-year-old little girl
Who
that
gives a fuck about
Dead.
has
We're
hair.
talking about Boondock Saints.
Dead.
Or it's just like from a certain perspective, you can argue that it almost promotes vigilantism and also promotes like this idea that if you're going to situations, you need to approach it like this kind of superhero kind of mentality, like nothing bad is gonna happen.
Well, that's what I like about the end of it. Like that's the one kind of he almost tries to save himself I'm talking about Boondock Saints with like all the news interviews. And granted, all those extras are the worst fucking actors on the fucking planet. Like they're so bad.
They're bad.
You know what? They're killing for good, man. They're killing for good. It's like, yeah, you're definitely a bystander there, buddy.
Let me
that's his shining moment right there. But they do try and address that of like people. They do say there's going to be 3 posters: Batman, Superman, and these Saints. Like I do like that scene in the movie, and that definitely holds up. But yeah, I mean, no one in the 90s could predict that there was legitimately going to be a mass shooting every single week. And even watching, it was so weird watching that IMAX trailer for Tenet, that the one scene they decide to put in the fucking trailer is someone taking over a theater with AK-47s.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, who fucking chose this? Because I'm legitimately uncomfortable now. This is fucked up.
It was very fucked up.
Now that being said, something I know Garth is like, oh, why are you so against vigilantes and do you hate Batman? Now the difference between these two is that one, obviously it takes place in this kind of sci-fi fantasy world, but the thing is, if it's done in such a way where it's very I don't want to say focus on realism, because obviously these movies are not focused on realism. Boondock Saints I don't want to say it's very achievable, but it's not focused. It's not in this sci-fi fantasy world. It is.
No, it is very achievable. Like, I mean, granted, they're not going to be spitting from the roof, and shooting everybody, but
it's not. It's based in reality in a real place.
But didn't you just shoot yourself in the foot for your Matrix argument then?
No, I didn't say that. I mean, like, I love that movie, but it doesn't hold up in that aspect because of it. And I love that movie. I really do. But it has a lot of problems, that doesn't age well, unfortunately, just like a lot of movies, especially from that era.
Are you talking
I feel like that's
Matrix now?
Matrix. I think she's talking about the Matrix. And I feel like that's why there's like a specific moment when Trinity does the whole dodge this and she shoots him in the head. Yeah. And you've never seen until that moment that the agent returns back to the pilot that he took over. Yes. And I feel like that's kind of them making up for it. That's why we killed all those security guards. Because those security guards, they don't know anything about agents or the Matrix or who they're guarding. It's a day job. They're getting minimum wage, and they just got Uzi'd and karate chopped in the face out of nowhere. So I feel like that's literally a point in the movie, and I feel like that's why it's so well directed and written, is that there's a specific moment in the movie where like, oh, like even though Morpheus explained it at the beginning, so much has happened and you're taking in so much info about this brand new world that they needed to physically show you that when a person dies, they return back to their human form and they're no longer the agent.
I love that Ben thinks that he knows shit.
Jake is just on here to give you shit, Ben. Jake is out there just
I mean, I came on here to fucking challenge you about Boondock Saints, and now you're spitting all this shit.
Jake, someone write some questions. Someone write me some Boondock Saints questions. I'll go Iron Man match against Jake for Boondock Saints. I've seen it. I grew up on it.
Down.
I'm sorry.
Can we do that? Oh my gosh, Ben. Okay, as someone that's competing actively, are you guys allowed to participate? Are you guys allowed to participate in exhibition matches or even like Iron Man matches, like in these settings for fun?
I mean,
I know you guys
I'll ask Christian.
Circumstances.
I mean, I'd be down, but it's just like it is, especially with you guys, because you guys are literally a part of the Schmodown brand. I don't know how that would work. Because you guys are literally like it's 1 and 1A. You guys are literally like the face of fandom for Schmodown. But yeah, so and that's the thing. I'd love to play Jake, and that sounds like a lot of fun. Beating a redheaded stepchild and movie trivia. This defenseless.
I'm not redheaded because I don't have any hair.
A once redheaded stepchild.
A coming of age / young adult adaptations match, and I know someone asked me if I can put together a Kevin Smith exhibition match between one of the Adamses and Rachel, and someone else asked to do it, and I was just like, I would love to do it, but I don't know if I can if you guys are involved.
I think it could be done on video. Like Video Drew does, she does those one movie match things. I almost feel like that would be maybe permissible.
Exactly. That's why I'm kind of like, if it's like like a different kind of thing. So that's what I'm kind of
I feel like that one movie thing like Paul was saying, like I feel like that'd be like, a little bit of a loophole. And does Drew do that on Twitch or does she do it on YouTube? Like, are they rewatchable?
Yeah, they do it on Twitch.
They are rewatchable. They
on YouTube.
YouTube and Twitch.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was gonna say if it's on Twitch, then usually there's no VODs unless you specifically mark it. So maybe that's like a different thing that you can't go back and watch it. You could only watch it live and then it's gone. But I don't know. I'd love to talk to him about it because that sounds fun, and I was looking forward to. I put my name in the hat for the Inner Geekdom tournament. I don't know if I was gonna play, but I would have loved to play just because I miss it, man. I miss tapings. I miss Schmodown. I miss just like playing along, even when I'm not playing, is so much fun. It's great.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that'll work out.
Yeah.
Even if we have to do it in Video Drew, like that'd be cool if we do it that way. People are starting to volunteer now. They'll write questions also. Malcolm, questions, absolutely.
I mean, Malcolm, if you want to go for it, man, you let me know.
So let's see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Okay.
Let me give Jake a test question. Let me think of something.
Oh, there you go. Jake ran away all of a sudden. Okay.
Oh, look at that. That's what
ran away.
Wow. The mic
already scared him away.
Answer the question if he can.
Okay, let me see if I can think of something.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. What pool ball, what billiards ball does he use to kill their target?
What the fuck?
So in the flashback scene with William Dafoe, the long-haired guy, can't think of his name, probably not a good sign. David Rocco, what billiards ball does he use to kill the guys with the glasses?
I think it was the 14, wasn't it?
That's a cue ball, baby. Come on now.
Oh boy.
Wow.
So that was a leading ass question because that's not actually a pool ball.
Oh my! Oh, look at Bims in the chat. Actually, it was Sir Billiards Ball, not Lord Billiards Ball. So.
Fair play. It's the cue ball, not cue ball.
Yeah, exactly. How do you spell cue ball?
I got the cue ball right here.
Speaking of cue balls, there you go. Not that far behind, but
yeah, I mean, I do put together the exhibition matches. I mean, if that's something we can do, I can definitely ask Christian about it. We can figure something out. Who knows? We need Schmodown or movie content, people. It needs to happen. We need to figure it out.
Oh wait, the tag team partners.
Ooh.
Rachel wants it also.
Oh, I will fuck you up, Rachel.
Wow, I don't think you want to go there again, Rachel. Ben, you can say that too. I think you can say that
Not
to Ben.
Rachel.
I think she'll fuck you up bad.
See, I won't say that about Dogma. Rachel is going to be the judge for the Dogma match between me and Chris Adams or Robert Adams and Mike Deacon. I'm not going to fuck with her on Kevin Smith, but I'll fuck with her with Boondock Saints.
Jake is getting cocky, and Brandy's going to stab you.
Yeah, Brandy always wants to stab me. That's nothing new.
That's the most Jake Yakovlev I've ever seen him say. Just a cigarette. Brandy always wants to fucking stab me. What else is new? That's the most chill thing Jake can say.
Okay, well, Robert's asking what Fraggle Rock actor is in the Boondock Saints?
I've never seen that.
That's not a legit question.
That's not about Boondock Saints. That's about Fraggle Rock.
Okay, well,
I've never
asking.
All right, I'll let me paraphrase that. Which Boondock Saints actor appears in Fraggle Rock?
One movie. I don't have to.
All I remember about Fraggle Rock is that they had like ketchup and mustard, and like, they put it together. Like that's all I remember.
There you go.
Jake is done. Jake knows he's done. He knows better. He wants to be all big and tough, but he knows he's done.
Shut the fuck up, Paul.
Oh, this is so great.
Oh,
but that'd be like the same thing as like what actor from Brave is in Boondock Saints?
Brave, the show, the movie,
The movie Brave.
Movie Brave.
the animated movie.
The animated movie.
Yes.
What is Brave?
No, one of the animated bears. What animated bear is in Boondock Saints?
No, see, our questions need to be about the actual movie.
All I'm hearing from Jake is, I need you to ask me questions that I know.
Who directed Boondock Saints?
Troy Duffy.
Jake?
Yeah, that guy.
Name both of the lead actors that played the brothers in Boondock Saints.
Norman Reedus and the other guy.
And Sean Patrick Flannery.
Oh yeah, that one.
That one fella.
That guy.
Yeah, and there you go. There's your Brave.
See, I'm more about plot. Like I don't do directors and shit.
That's why you're gonna lose, man. That's why you're gonna lose. You gotta be well-rounded.
You gotta be well-rounded.
Eat a dick, Paul.
All right, here's a plot question for you, Jake, and I'm sorry to take over the stream with Boondock Saints.
Yeah, I see you over there Googling shit.
I'm not Googling anything. I was Googling.
Hands up.
Hands up. Okay. What does the brand new employee for the fish packing plant have tattooed on her neck?
Oh, I know she gets her ass whooped.
She does get her ass whooped. I'll make it an easier one. What
tattooed on her neck? That isn't even a part of the movie. Like
it says untouched by man. She literally shows it to him when they go to shake her hand.
That's true. That is true, Jake. I gotta give him credit there.
What is the law that they give her that she gets pissed about? That's an easy one.
The rule of thumb.
There it is. There you go.
All right. Well,
which is a really fucked up rule, by the way. I didn't realize the history of the rule of thumb is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh boy! Well, that one
right.
I think that should end our Boondock Saints exhibition.
Yes,
match.
we are done with Boondock Saints.
We should definitely at least make this if we're going to have a match. Well, we want to save the questions for that. So.
Yes,
I will work on that. I'll see what I can do.
And yeah, it doesn't have to be Boondock Saints. You guys can choose other movies as well. I just think I like that that because I went over to Nerd Chronic and Video Drew, or Nerd Chronic's house the first time Video Drew was in town, and we played Bring It On, and I did pretty well. Like there was a deep cut question. It was like, what video game is the little brother playing while Eliza Dushku's trying to talk to him?
Mortal Kombat?
Paul?
I have not watched Bring It On, to be honest with you, so I would not know that one.
Twisted Metal.
Oh, what's this? Twisted Metal?
Yeah. But I'll get out of your hair, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Love you all.
Thank you for dropping by.
Yeah, keep up. Take care, man. Jake, you still gonna stick around, or are you done?
Nah, I'm actually
kicked out.
I've never kicking you out too. Anyway. I was kidding. We'll have to say goodbye.
Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! Look at that! Oh.
Speaking of matches, Video Drew, I would like Video Drew. I talked to her. I'm hoping that she'll make The Crow as a match, because I would enter that one, Pa. Definitely.
Thank you, Jake, for calling.
Right, I'll see y'all later. Sorry for derailing the shit.
We were never rails.
We were never on the rails. So it's fine.
So anyway, Kelsey, what's the next segment of our show?
All right, the next is, let me pull it up.
I got to leave soon.
Called to the Network. All the amazing shows we have coming up this week on our channel, starting with tomorrow. Paul, what's happening tomorrow on Chill?
Tomorrow we have somebody who's just new to the Action Army. She's a new-time Action Army member, at least according to Jake.
According to Jake.
No, official OG Action Army member.
First
I can't believe the first time she's been on the Chilled Action. It is Janine the Machine. I'm so excited about that. That's going to be great. And I'm going to have Jake on just so that I'm going to put Jake on the screen and mute him just to let her
vent, tear
him apart. And that'd be a worthwhile segment. If everybody wants to see that, let me know. I'll make it happen. Actually, we've already started pitching this or that questions in the
I feel so bad for Jake about that. He has apologized in so many different ways. Like, I don't know what more he can do. Like,
he can't
apologized in person. He's apologized online, in public, in private. like what do we do?
But anyway, and then after that, the week after that, we do have Lon Harris coming on, the delinquent himself, and the professor. And the week after that will be Ethan Big Time Irwin, which I'm looking forward to quite a bit. And possibly, I believe we're going to have, I think we just kind of confirmed it, Brianne Chandler will probably be the next one after that.
Yay. Oh my gosh. That lineup, man. Oh,
I love it. Love talking chill. So,
yeah. All right. And then a couple days later on Wednesday, what's happening on Schmobates, Alex?
It's exciting. This is exciting.
No big deal, guys, but this match right here.
A lot of yelling. A lot of yelling.
So much yelling. And it's going to be great.
John Malka versus Bibiani. They're going to be partaking in a little arguments, series of arguments, really. This Wednesday at 9:30 Central. So it's really fun. Definitely come and hang. Because you're the people that determine who's going to walk away the victor and who's the loser is not going to be me and Kelsey and I. It's as much as we'd like to. It's actually going to be the people that view it. You guys vote to really kind of determine who makes better arguments, and not just makes better arguments specifically. You have to put like factions and storylines and all that side to be very impartial. You have to base it off arguments alone, which I know it can be very, very do. And I'm sure it's going to be very much loud noises. I'm sure that's going to be the thing. So I'm going to really kind of work with them and really kind of hone it in. So that's going to be really fun. I'm going to be having Robert Parker come on the following week. That's going to be really fun. And here on that's going to be on the 8th. April 8th, but also coming up on the 15th, I'm actually going to have Kevin Smets against his manager.
Whoa.
That's versus Kaiser. That's an awesome match.
That is going to be good.
Yeah, I guess, sorry, Kaiser. Yeah, I feel like I just said that. Sorry. Kaiser versus Smets. So that's going to, and they're going to be actually competing against each other. So.
Woo.
I can't wait for that one myself.
That's going to be so good.
There's going to be some feels.
There's going to be some Dickie Doos shouted at each other.
A lot of Dickie Doos.
A lot of Dickie Doos.
Dungeon Civil War, as Danny says in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's gonna be amazing. All right, and then I don't know if we have anything else coming up this week. We didn't have AAA last week, so we may possibly have one this week, but keep your eye out on social media. We'll keep you posted. And then, of course, we have live next Sunday around this time at ends up being 8 p.m. Pacific time. I believe is when we usually end up starting.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys then. So thank you so much for joining us. Actually, real quick, any questions from the chat? Anything? I mean, this has been a
Kelsey,
had a
when
little-
are we going to the ladies' night? That's what I want to know.
ladies' night. We need to do a ladies' night. I don't have plans because I am in quarantine. So just let me know when you guys are ready.
Birthday. When is your birthday? When is your birthday? When is your birthday? I need to
I
know.
believe she's talking about for the Kaiser
Kevin, yeah,
Kevin Smith match.
Ooh,
that would be cool.
I'd be open to it. Not gonna lie, that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Yeah. Oh, even better. Perfect. We can totally make that happen. Yeah, but we definitely need to figure out a ladies' night for sure.
Yes.
A 6.5-hour ladies' night.
We need to break the record. Our stupid anniversary episode ruined our records.
I'm not gonna lie. That the 6.5 hours in, we had so many people on, so many guests from the chat, so many of us were on, and by that time it was down to myself, Kelsey, Danny Coast, and Jake, who's definitely about 2 or 3 30 cases in with Bud Light. We were all pretty much drunk at that point, and I just gotta say it was pretty. It was time to tap out at that point. We were all feeling field at that point.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Aside from Rachel, that was probably my second longest one I've been on. The difference between being with Rachel and Kelsey and Danny, those were times we were actively on the entire time. Versus where we were last night, there were times where we were away for 20 minutes or an hour or something. With that one, honestly, I would say that one was actually more difficult because it was the 4 of us actively chatting for 5.5 hours, just the 4 of us. No people coming in and out or extra chats, people dropping off or anything. No. Versus like 12 of us and had some guests. That's a little bit easier, just saying.
That might be true. Yeah, it actually would be true.
It's probably true. I would have stayed on for like 2 hours.
I would have had my 3rd wind or 4th wind at that point.
Yeah, I would have been like, all right, let's find a monster or something.
Let me sling down another Jack Daniels and let's go.
Woo!
Woo! So.
Lucas would have been like, I can figure out some more hats. I can find some more.
Your fan would have been on your head, I think, next at one point. I think the fan up there. Yes, it was Chris, and Chris was on there too. That's right. Sniff and Axe were great guests. So
yes, it was a great night. I'm still recovering. I don't know if you noticed my energy level's a little lower tonight. That is why.
Well, all right. Do we have anything else then, Kels?
There were some questions. Let me see.
Yeah, questions from
First
the chat?
question, David B.
More a question for me, I guess. Well, here's the thing, David. They're going to be shipping things out soon. Not right away. They have to get everything together to pack. I think quarantine has slowed down their shipping a little bit, but I know they will be hopefully doing it. It said by the end of the month, so I'm going to guess a little bit into April. We'll probably throw it all out there at that point. That's my guess. Things change the drop of a hat, though. So
yeah.
Yeah.
These are unprecedented times. You don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I would say also, I mean, like with the exhibition match, like I mentioned earlier, I am going to be hosting the coming of age / young adult adaptation exhibition match here in a few weeks. And if that's something you would be excited to compete in or anything along those lines, definitely let us know on the Facebook page or anything along those lines. Just like let any of us know and I'll get you on the list. I do have to audition you before putting you in because every time I do it, like everyone thinks they're good at it, honestly. But I do like to audition you guys, and I do invite only the top 3 or potentially 4 competitors to be on. And I last 2 times I had Andrew Ghai on for the rom-com exhibition match in February, which was fun. I had Alonzo Duralda for the holiday exhibition match. So I definitely like to keep with the theme.
Fair enough. Yes, David B. Yes, I'll make that happen. I'll do that just for you. As long as you write enough music to score my walk. That's And yes, Ferris is not an action
Or
army.
The
He's
Walk.
not an action industry stream, but I'll answer the questions anyway. Same time, and then they're gonna do all the things at the same time. So that one I'll ask as well. And I believe it's gonna be soon. I believe they wanted to do it at the beginning of the month. It's supposed to be just for March. So I got to look at the anniversary date. I will let you guys know soon on that.
All right.
So yeah.
All right, I have a comment, no question, but I love y'all, and you're putting up more streaming hours than C-SPAN, and I'm here for it. Thank you. All right, Jeremiah Morris, what are you guys more excited for, Spencer Kaiser or Roka and Bibbs?
Schmobates? Ooh.
Well, considering the Bibbs Roka one is just a few days away, I would probably say that one right now. But also considering the intense long-term history between those two competitors. I mean,
yeah, no, I got it. That they had that.
But also like Kaiser and Smets. I mean, they're like low key, like really good friends. I mean, they work together and everything. They have for a long time.
And that would actually it's like almost like more like the Movie Guys one was, which is definitely you see as two close friends like that. They get on each other's nerves like that. Not nerves, but they're playing around obviously, but it could be a very fun, entertaining match in a totally different way. So I'm looking to both equally. I'll be honest. That's not just pushing up the show. That's me saying I'm equally looking towards both matches. So.
And Malcolm, just saying, Schmobates between Harloff and Mark Ellis. I don't know. Harloff lost his match, so.
Ooh.
I don't know if he's invited back to compete.
Well, let's be honest. Harloff would destroy Ellis anyway. I love Mark Ellis, but even Trisha has said that Mark doesn't know a lot about the history as far as like keeping it up as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Mark Ellis has said himself that he would get destroyed.
Yeah, I asked Ellis to come on Schmobates, and he's like, I'm not gonna lie, I can't argue or shit. I will, however, would love to come judge.
There you go. Exactly. There you go.
All right. So here's a question if we want to answer it. Frank and the Pride have had an interesting conversation on Twitter today.
That's a debate that we can get into. It's a little late, but
yeah,
I will say that Frank's criticism. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. His job is to spark conversation. It's part of his thing about it. He has the rundown. He wants to talk about things, and he definitely got views. He definitely got his set out there. I'm not sure how much he believes in, as far as like wholeheartedly believes in the whining aspect. He might exaggerate a little bit. I happen to. It's an interesting point. I could see both sides of the story, but I do think that you have to take into account a lot of things we didn't see, as far as what Rachel and were trying to do. I didn't actually see the rundown, so I don't know what his exact comments were. So it's hard for me to comment further, to be honest with you. So
all right.
I'll leave it at that.
Here's a question. Over or under on backhanded compliments from Roka to Bibbs?
High, whatever the number is, it's very, very high.
Very high likelihood of that happening. All right, and then I think it's probably the last question of the night. Alex, who is your favorite Star Wars character? Harris from Paul. I love 3PO.
C-3PO? I'm not going to throw my hat at that. I'm okay with that. Okay.
He is like the most flamboyantly gay character in Star Wars. I love him.
It's true. That's actually pretty true. And I won't throw my hat. I would have thrown my hat if she had said something like C-3PO3 or something.
If she just said Spock.
If she had said Spock. Yeah. If she had said Spock, I would have thrown my hat or something like that. Or she said,
yeah, I actually really do like C3, but he's just so. I mean, I kind of wish I did.
That would have made me grab the jacket.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not quippy enough to come up with that.
Fair enough.
But, I mean, but genuinely, C3PO is my favorite character, though.
Okay. 3PO is awesome. Very good.
I can't disagree with that. So.
All right. Well, I think that does it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's do our sign-offs, and we can all go to bed because we are still recovering from yesterday. So, Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me hosting Schmobates every single Wednesday at 9:30 Central, 7:30 Pacific. It's a fun time where we try to argue and debate Schmodown's biggest questions to the death, and it's really fun. So definitely check us out there. I also host exhibition matches every other month or so definitely participate in that. But I'm on Twitter at Call Action Pod. That's where I run it. And last but not least, please check out in podcast form. If you are an essential worker, like a lot of you guys are where you are so needed and necessary for our world to keep spinning. Thank you so much for doing everything you do. And while you're driving around or whatever it is that you want to do, check out our podcast as well. You know, we're on audio form, and you can listen to this in audio form. It's a good time.
Without our faces. It might be preferable that way.
Fair enough.
Not kidding.
That's my fault. Sorry.
And PLD, where can people find you?
At Paul_Denuzio. You can also find me on the Action Industries Patreon. I was at Twitter Patreon page. I do run that for Ben and Drew. Any DM questions you have about Patreon, you could let me know, and I'll answer them to my best of my ability. You'll also find me coming on the Action Guys every once in a while. I'll let that sink in. Yeah, I made that joke still. I still love that Sabrina joke. It's pretty funny. And
Is it funny though, Paul?
It's pretty fun. I laugh. It's funny enough to me, and that's all that matters.
I guess it is all that matters.
It is. As long as I amuse myself, you all can just get the fuck out. As far as I'm concerned, I amuse myself. Anyway, also I opened my new YouTube channel. Well, it's not new anymore, really. PLD Projects. I do a show on Star Wars. I do a show on V weekly so far. I'm looking to expand that. Look out for that soon. Maybe we'll find out. But finally, I do want to point out tonight specifically that if you want to see more, if you haven't got enough of me tonight or last night. In about a half an hour now, just over half an hour, Class Action, the show I do with Richard Eric Jarvie on the Action Industries YouTube channel, is having their first ever live episode. We are welcoming on our special guests in the chat, Rachel Silverstream, my live event wife, and also we are welcoming on PJ Campbell. And four of us, with help from, at least via DM, with help from John Mariano and Matt Kearns, we are going to be ranking the proper View Askew universe, the View Askew universe, Kevin Smith movies. So that should be fun. It's half an hour away. Welcome. I'd love to have you guys in the chat because,
I'll be there.
Good. There you go. Perfect. At least we have one. So
guys, I know you're going to be in the chat, so I'll see you guys.
Perfect. Very perfect.
Oh, that's a lineup. I'll definitely be watching that because you can't compete with that lineup. I mean, PJ, I mean, we haven't seen him as much lately because I miss him since I haven't seen him since Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then
the Jay and Silent Bob reboot available?
It is on Amazon. Actually, right now it's on Amazon Prime.
Fantastic.
Prime.
Nice.
So they're fine.
Very cool.
Check out.
I'll get it out to you. I'll go.
All right,
you don't deserve it, David.
And yes, Star Drew, I will point out, I must point this out real quick. Mm-hmm. Star Drew has been in the Class Action chat since day one. Every time when I don't have a live episode, I've been premiering them. He's been in there talking. He's been probably our biggest supporter. So Star Drew, I definitely give you a salute there. So.
All right. Well, you can find me at KelseyKins90 on Twitter and Instagram. I also run the Call to Action podcast Instagram, so you can interact with me there. TeePublic, we have merch. Go check out TeePublic. And I also have my own personal YouTube channel where I talk pretty much mostly about Harley Quinn, but I do play video games and things like that. So please subscribe to that if you're curious. All right.
Well, what game do you play again, Kelsey?
I am currently playing a game called Hunicam Studios where I run a cam girl business. So check it out.
Get that money, girl.
Money, 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 money.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you again.